No, boom. Alright,
This week, or not this week, this time on What's a Higurashi?
that's a good question. That's what we're gonna find out. Keiichi's probably gonna cope more. There's probably going to be some
Yubi
delicious Keiichi cope.
Koopy, Yubi gets eating.
It's been a long while since I heard that. Okay, so, uh-oh.
Yes.
What your stream currently is have reduced video or audio quality. This may be due to network conditions. Is that facts?
On whose end?
My
The
end,
no.
likely. The internet's like on and off.
What? Oh,
We'll see how it affects things. Tap, tap, tap. The sound of muffled footsteps stopped in front of the door to my room. A moment of silence, as if whomever they belonged to was ascertaining if I was inside.
a moment of silence for Keiichi Maibara.
He ain't dead yet, but he soon will be. Of all the things I should have been doing, I continued with my restless slumber. I was very much conscious, but my body hadn't caught up yet. Even with danger bearing down on me from just beyond the door, it was as if I was completely paralyzed, unable to move. Without a doubt, this was sheer terror. Please, just leave. Hey, why isn't my body awake yet? If they came to my room right now, then I sprung to my feet and threw my covers at my mom, who was opening the door. No,
何ケイチどう
Keiichi?
したの
What's the matter?
あ
Ah, go on,
ごめん寝
Uf-chan.
ぼけてた
I was still half asleep. I thought it was still 1 or 2 a.m. The morning sun was
I
already
dreamed. I
streaming.
dreamed about the ending of Chainsaw Man, and it was terrible.
It's is that tomorrow?
No.
Oh,
That is next week.
okay. Break week moment. Did they cry yet? Keiichi's crying right now, I think. But the morning sun was already steaming through the gap between the curtains. It felt nothing like morning. Yesterday, I must have fallen asleep right after that. Then I should have gotten the full 10 hours of rest. But I didn't feel like that at all. My internal clock was completely screwed up and my sense of balance felt off. I felt feverish enough that it was clear to me that I was still
ど
not
う
well.
ケイチ
Well,
体の調
Keiichi?
子はどう
How are you
学
feeling?
校行
Can
け
you
そう
make it to school? I kinda have to, or else I'm dead. I felt far from well enough. No, I wasn't mentally fit to go. I was still plagued with the terror from yesterday. If I had swallowed that needle, what would have happened? Or what if it had pierced my tongue? There's undoubtedly a murderous intent. I don't think that's all it was. If they really wanted to kill me, then there were other, more certain ways to do it. They wouldn't resort to such a dubious method as having me swallow a needle. Meaning, I don't want to believe it, but going that far was just a threat from Rena and Mion. Aren't you glad you didn't die? But next time I use a more assured method. Like that. Something like sending a letter with a razor inside that would have been a joke compared to... Something like sending a letter with a razor inside would have been a joke compared to this.
ちゃんと病院は行っ
Can't wait for
た
Rena to be like, "Hello, Keiichi. I would like to play a game."
Did you make it to the hospital?
お薬は飲んだの
Did you take your medicine?
うん
Mm,
ま
yeah,
あ一応
kinda. Something
I
about
took
my
my
mom's
skins.
dubious fears bothered me. I think everybody around Keiichi needs some sort of medication.
I mean, do you realize where this is? And that ain't happening.
She seemed more concerned about her son missing 2 days of school rather than him being sick. It was definitely mental fatigue. I wasn't really physically
一
ill.
度生活のリズムを崩す
It
と
would be
なかな
hard
か
for you
戻
to
ら
get
ないん
back
だ
on
から
track once your daily routine is
さ
thrown
あ
off.
起きて起きて
Come on, get on up.
病は
I say
力
wellness
っ
is a
て
state
言
of
うのよ
mind. I'd heard that line many times before. I was given an award in elementary school for having perfect attendance, but it wasn't like I was healthier than
さあさ
everyone.
顔洗って
Come
き
on,
さ
go wash
ご
your
飯は
face.
もうできてるわ
Breakfast is
よ
already ready.
もうレナちゃんが
There
来る
isn't
ま
much
で
time before
あまり時
Rena-chan
間が
comes
な
and
いわ
gets
よ
you. In many ways, yeah, she's gonna come and get me. Mom's tone meant I couldn't argue about it, so I had to give up on skipping school a second day.
そうそう
By
今
the
の
way,
壁にボタン持ち
were
を
you
投
the
げ
one
つ
that
けた
got
のは
bean
ケイ
paste all over the
チ
living room wall,
ダ
Keiichi?
メよあん
You
なこと
shouldn't
し
do
ては
something like
お
that.
父さん
Your father
怒
was
ってたわ
quite
よ
angry. Okay, did you not see the, giant needle sticking out of it? I didn't
I
feel
don't care
particularly...
about that. You do what you did.
You take that needle down like a man! I eat nails for breakfast.
Don't even bother about the Oyashiro-sama excuse. I've heard that excuse so many fucking times.
I didn't feel particularly guilty for doing it, so I didn't have much of a reaction. Also, Mom didn't question me any further about it. She headed back downstairs after she was certain I was getting up. What Mion said as she left yesterday.
I'd hate it if you missed school tomorrow.
Came back and dwelled in the back of my head. What does she mean by that? What does she mean by this? I didn't even
Indeed.
have to think about it. She
What
was
did
saying,
Leon mean by this? Don't be absent.
taking that a bit further, it was the same as her saying I should just go about living my life as if nothing happened. If I showed any
Nothing ever
signs of
happens.
we're keeping up the myth that nothing ever happens in Hinamizawa.
True.
If I showed any signs of acting unusual, it would probably result in them making their move. If I acted differently, someone like Oishi-san, for example, might end up noticing that something is up. Meaning, if I didn't watch my mouth or did anything differently from the norm, in effect, it would end up communicating something to those who were undesirable. And it seems that was something that the girls didn't intend to forgive. So if I just went along as normal, no harm would come to me. Is that how it was going to be? All that misery I experienced up until yesterday would, almost creepily, just fade away. It was an enticing deal. Just by forgetting everything I'd seen or heard these last few days, I'd be able to keep on living like normal.
そんな虫のいい
It was all a
話
dream.
あるわけ
But there's no way such a selfish thing could... I swallowed hard. I once again deliberated on the idea that I had just rejected. Mihan was probably a good person who had her friends at heart. She was giving me, who had mistakenly broken some rule of theirs, a chance, rather. Was what I did really something so unforgivable? But Mion had given me another chance. She was saying, if I just forgot everything and kept living on like I had been, I'd be forgiven.
ご飯冷めちゃうわよ
Keiichi, your food is going to
急い
get
で置い
cold.
てらっしゃい
Hurry up and get down
早
here.
くしないと
And I'll be here if you don't
レナちゃんが来ちゃうわ
hurry.
あ
Ah,
今行くよ
I'm coming! I crammed my textbooks into my bag and hastily made my way downstairs.
She is coming.
I picked up my somewhat bland breakfast. It seemed that I didn't have much time. It was already past when I usually met up with Rena. Given yesterday's events, she'd probably be here in the next 5 minutes. I needed to be ready to head to school by then. I had to forget everything that happened the past 2 days. Forget it all and return to my normal life. For this to be normal, I had to be where I normally met up with Rena. Today of all days, the rice was dry and hard to get down. I jumped
Here
at the
we
sound
go.
and dropped my chopsticks. A chime signaled that Rena had arrived. Mom hurried me
ほら
along.
レナちゃん来
Come
ちゃったわ
on,
よ
Rena-chan's already
急いで
here.
急いで
Hurry, hurry! My mother's merry smile and my gloomy face were polar opposites. Put on a smile.
Keiichi-kun, are you Colonel Sanders?
Honestly, I was reluctant to see Rena, who was waiting there on the other side of the door. But Rena on the other side, was it the Rena I knew? I couldn't keep her waiting. I needed to do things as usual.
おはよ
Morning! An invigorating greeting filtered in from across the doorway.
うケイチくん遅かったから来てみたけど
was a bit late.
今日はどうか
Are
な
you okay today?
かな
I wonder. The manner in which Rena was concerned was, without a doubt, the Rena I knew. But that was probably only if I reciprocated. Forget everything from yesterday. Pretend as though nothing had happened. Forget about the gruesome dismemberment. Forget about the mysterious deaths that happened the following years. Forget about the people falling to their death, and the terminal illness and suicide, the fatal beatings, and the disappearances. Forget it. Forget all of it. Forget that Rena and Mia were scary. Of course, forget it all. Forget about all of it. Forget about the mochi too. Forget. Rena, once again, has to make sure.
Can
you make it to school?
Yeah,
大丈夫だよ。
I'm fine.
よかった。
Great! Let's
じゃあ
go!
待ってるよ。
Mi-chan is waiting.
Rena showed me her usual bright smile. I couldn't find any hint of deceit in her expression. My nervousness dissipated, giving way to relief. Okay, that long pause had me
な
scared.
のにさとこちゃんね。
Yeah, I was just
絶対に
waiting.
でき
I
る
was
から
waiting
でき
for
なっ
it.
ちゃって。
Don't fuck this up for me, Keiichi-kun. But you see,
Yeah, I think I will.
Satoko-chan was so insistent she could do it.
As we were walking, Rena talked about a lot of different stuff, more so than usual. Hmm?
それで
Then?
さとこちゃん不吉祥だから
Satoko-chan's so
何度やっ
clumsy,
てもでき
so she
ない
fell
の。
no matter how many times she tried.
可愛かったんだよ。
Oh, she was so cute.
Everything Rena talked about.
I'm Satoko.
Everything Rena talked about was just silly nonsense. Stella just replied every so often and laughed from time to time. It was a rather laid-back conversation. We passed by one of our neighbors and they called out to
あれ
us.
ケイチちゃんにレナちゃん。今日はちょっと遅いんじゃないの
Oh my, Keiichi-chan and Rena-chan. Aren't you two a bit
ミ
late
オン
today?
ちゃん先に行くって
Mion-chan
言っ
said
て
she
た
was
わ
going
よ。
on ahead. Terrifying.
みーちゃん怒ってるかな。
Did Mi-chan look mad, I
怒って
wonder?
るか
I
な。
wonder.
早く行こう、ケイ
We need
チ
to hurry up, Keiichi-kun.
After greeting her neighbor with a smile, Rena turned back to me and poked her tongue out. Not expecting that, I couldn't help but crack a smile.
あ
Huh.
ケイチくん笑
Keiichi
った。
smiled. Good, keep
What?
smiling.
なんだよ。
What? Rena stopped and stared at me.
ケイチくん、
I was thinking that you still hadn't recovered from your cold since you seemed down
ま
this
だ
morning,
風邪が治らない
Keiichi-kun.
のかなって
But
思
now
っ
you
て
seem
たけど。
fine. Fine.
大丈夫みたいだね。だね。
With a grin, she gently poked my cheek. It was a bright, sincere smile. Hey, Keiichi Maibara? How can you still doubt Rena after she told you a smile like that? Maybe I just had a high fever up until today, and I imagined everything, and I thought that happened because I was bedridden and delirious. I
That's
really
no
hope that was the case.
bullshit.
More cope. If God would just grant me one wish, there's only one thing that I wish for. I won't want what
Sakonia and the
happened.
Nakukoro Nei phase 2. That's all I want. The second phase of Sakonia. When are you, Kishi?
It'll happen when we finish phase 1, surely. We just gotta get there. That's the
That'll be
next
like
cope.
never. When is this going?
Hey, but in a week's time, we've gotten to do 2 sessions, alright? That's better than last time.
True.
Oh, what happened in the past few days? More specifically, from the night to watch Nagashi up until last night, I wonder all of that would never happen. I wonder how many times I'd wish for these past few days. I wished for this these past few days. As long as Rena kept on smiling like this, I think it might just become reality.
That
So
is
what, I
far
have to
beyond
keep on
my
smiling.
power.
Keep on smiling.
ケイチくん、
So, Keiichi-kun.
昨
I'm
日
waiting
の
for
お
it.
はぎ、ちゃん
I
と
was
食
about
べ
to
てく
yesterday.
れ
Did you eat them all?
Yep. There it is.
Ah.
Yeah, Keiichi-kun, did you eat them all?
I got
You know, I
mixed.
worked so hard on this. It'd be a shame if it went to let's just say go to waste.
Vain wish of mine was instantly shattered. My heart began palpitating. The relaxed morning mood suddenly became frigid. Rena's smile was the same as usual. Her eyes were gentle as usual.
Nothing much yesterday. Did you eat them all?
Of course he wasn't asking the question at face value. In other words, Sumari, Rena was asking,
Did you get the message?
she was probably trying to convey that.
ケイチくん、
Keiichi-kun?
I was reluctant to give an answer. Rena stopped walking and stared deeply into my eyes. Don't hesitate, Keiichi Maibara. Rena was acting the same as always, wasn't she? I need to respond in my usual way. Naturally, of course. But both my throat and my mouth had gone dry. My lips were stuck together. Hurry and answer, Keiichi. Not that much time had passed. I could still keep the conversation going naturally. I had to say something quickly. D-
おー
Eh? Rena, Rena playfully mimicked what I said, and I finally squeaked something out. Rena's reaction was still normal. It seems that there wasn't as long of a pause as I had thought. Somehow, I finally squeaked out the rest. Delicious! However, my strained efforts did neither sullied nor brighten Rena's expression. For a moment, I panicked, thinking I had replied incorrectly. But after a few moments, Rena broke into her usual soft smile and giggled with a joyful voice that seemed to echo through the morning air. Being strung along by that laugh, I couldn't help but laugh as
そう
well.
なんだ
I see.
で全部
So,
食べたのかな
did you eat all of them, I
か
wonder?
な
I wonder?
My timid smile froze again. Did you make it without swallowing the sewing needle? Was that what she was asking? If I had swallowed it, I wouldn't be
い
here.
や全部は
Nah,
食べきれなかったか
I
らさ
couldn't finish all of them.
まだ残ってるんだよ
There's still some left. It splattered among the walls. I was scared out of my wits, but that's why I played it.
あ
It
れ
said
れ
Leon.
Leon, the like fifth Sonozaki sister.
どれ
Huh?
がレナが作った
Oh,
のか
Papa
当てる
Home,
宿
see
題
if you
は
can tell us
どう
when
なっとった
Rena
のか
made.
な
あの宿題って
And homework.
今日までだったっ
What's it
け
due today?
うん今日までなんだ
Yeah,
よ
it's due
兄
today.
ちゃん怒るよ
Your time will get
きっと
angry.
罰ゲー
There's
ムだ
probably
ね
a penalty game ready for you.
I'm scared to see what that is.
We both laughed at each other again. To a casual observer, it was just a typical morning. I could just let myself believe, and even I'd think it was just the usual morning routine. But I was certain I wasn't mistaken. There was something unimaginable buried beneath the facade of this giggling Rena.
Yes!
I recalled that unexpected piercing voice that I could hardly believe came from Rena's mouth. The moment that image crossed my mind, I felt a cold sweat trickle down my back. Was it only at that particular time that something evil had possessed Rena? No, that was wrong. That was still Rena. Keiichi-san told me, didn't
実
he?
は調べてみたら竜宮さんは引っ
Actually,
越し
I
の少
looked
し
into
前
her
に
before
学校で
Ryugu-san
謹
moved
慎処
away
分
to
を受けているんで
Hinamizawa.
すよ。
She was suspended from
なん
school.
でも
It
学
seems she
校
went
中
through
の
her
ガラス
school
を割っ
building
て
and
回っ
broke
た
all
ん
of the
じゃないで
windows.
すか。
Yes! Yes! The line! The line! The line! The line! The line! There it is! The line! There it is!
Huh.
It's the line! Oh, the disorder that normal people didn't have. Oh. This is where Higurashi truly begins.
Here we go.
Rena.
Just seeing this like without context would be really funny.
Rena had a disorder that normal people didn't. No matter how pleasantly she smiled, that fact would not change. But I couldn't even imagine how she looked as she broke all the glass throughout the school. One thing I knew was that it wasn't something spur of the moment. If it was some sudden outburst of anger, maybe she'd break a pane or two. But she broke all the windows all throughout her school. Just imagine going to your own school breaking the windows with a bat. Aura.
Oh, that goes hard.
Yeah. Swinging full force at each pane of glass, one after another. Paying no heed to the flying shards. Your classmates aghast, unable to move from the sudden turn of events. I wonder where she could have found the most windows lined up in a row. Probably the hallway. Walk, wind up. Walk, wind up. It was difficult for me to connect that horrifying image with the Rena smiling at me right now, but I just had to imagine it. Impossible because it was unimaginable. That naive way of thinking no longer worked. The unpleasant piercing sound shattered glass. A crunching noise as Rena threads across broken shards, walking towards me. Rena's classmates going pale as they forgot to even breathe. I wonder what they did as Rena came closer, breaking windows along her path. Did they earnestly try to bring her to her senses by saying something? Or did they jump at her, trying to stop her savagery? Or did they run to the staff room to call for the teachers? Probably not those. In the face of that blood-curdling sight, of Rena busting window after window, undoubtedly, all he could do was silently clear a path for her. Dumbfounded, just clearing the path for Rena to continue. It would be cruel to blame anyone for looking the other way. No, they weren't simply looking the other way. They knew it was the only way they could protect themselves. If they had done something differently from the rest, they may have suddenly found themselves as Rena's new target. What would Rena have done to whoever attracted her attention? The answer was obvious. She would have undoubtedly acted according to her whims. I would be the next window. Rena, staring into my eyes, shards of glass crunching and crackling underfoot as she drew closer. I was also drawn to her
Rena's just
eyes.
gonna be like, I'm gonna get rid of your bullying problem. Don't come to school tomorrow.
The stem windows.
Either that, or she's probably gonna be like, Keiichi good. If you didn't finish that mochi, I'm gonna break your windows.
Kinda. I was also drawn to her eyes, paralyzed. Then Rena struck me with a bat over and over again, like I was one of those windows. I crashed down into the floor, desperately protecting my head. Rena didn't care whether it was my head or my back. Zealously, she hit me again and again.
Jesus Christ, Rena.
What kind of expression was she making as she was doing this over and over again? I peered up to see. Her expression was so indifferent. It was completely unnerving. It was because no matter how many times she struck me, I didn't make as pleasant a sound as the other windows. She struck me continuously, over and over again. The sound Rena wanted didn't come out. Her classmates standing around didn't try to stop me. They didn't want to be the next window. Somebody save me. Turning a blind eye unless we're hanging out? But of course, everyone in the class scrambled to obtain the highest standardized test scores. They gained nothing from saving the cram school tryhard like me. Eventually, there would be a faint sound, similar to when you crack open a walnut, and some sort of reddish-black spray would shoot out. Anyway, it wasn't that Rena momentarily lost herself in anger. After forcing myself to breathe and calming down my heart, I recalled what Oishi-san told me.
And
in the counselor's medical report, he recorded all of the conversations he had with Rena-san. It shows up. And quite a bit at that.
何がです
What does?
出てくるんですよ。
She mentioned
親代様
the word Oyashiro-sama. Yes, Hinami-sama.
Following that, Rena was suspended and had regular examinations at the hospital. Then, as Rena was undergoing counseling, she said it over and over. Oyashiro-sama.
親代様っていう幽霊みたいな
It
もの
seems
で
that
すね
Oyashiro-sama she spoke of was like a
夜な夜な
ghost,
自宅にやってく
appearing
る
in her house every night,
枕元に立って
standing over her
自
pillow
分を
looking
見
down
下
at
ろ
her.
すんだって
That was only a
It's like,
piece of their
you
conversation.
wanna be possessed?
People who are desperate to be possessed by Oyashiro-sama. That was only a piece of their conversation, so I couldn't see the big picture. But it was by no means a happy little conversation. Then was what Rena did. Was she saying that ghastly incident was a result of her being possessed by Oyashiro-sama? Up until now, I didn't want to believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's why I wanted to say that the mysterious deaths every year happened because of some sort of conspiracy. Every time I talked to Fuishi-san, I was more certain that the deaths were the work of men and not some curse. Except, if it was the people perpetrating the incidents, my friends were somehow deeply connected. If I refused to believe that the curse was real, I would have to believe those who acted the kindest to me were deeply involved in the incidents. Why? How? For what reason? Was Rena? Was everybody? It was much more painful and troublesome than just accepting that it was just Oyashiro-sama's curse. In the aftermath, Rena had admitted to her doctor that it was because she was possessed by Oyashiro-sama. I felt a strange sense of relief from that. So that's how it was. There wasn't a second side to Rena. She did that because she was possessed by something strange like Oyashiro-sama. It wasn't Rena's fault. Yoshiwa-sama was the one to blame. I knew. This was all backwards. Refusing to believe there was a curse, I wanted her to be a human perpetrator. None of my close friends were the ones under suspicion. I changed my beliefs at my own convenience, saying it was Oyashiro-sama's curse to blame.
Yeah, it's like saying, a witch didn't do it. It was a human.
Yeah, but now the only humans available are like my family and like close companions. So actually, some other entity did it. Maybe versus are real.
Oh, don't be silly. Everyone knows I did it.
Reading Higurashi first has to make like Umineko a story full of like say that again. It's crazy. Battler and Keiichi, Battler and Keiichi's like uh their mental battles are the same. They have the same disposition at some points.
Surely the comments will think we're wrong.
Which was a better choice? Accepting that Oyashiro-sama's curse exists, or that Rena and the rest of them were deeply involved in this string of mysterious deaths. I didn't want to think about it. If I just didn't think about it, I'd be able to continue the same as always. I wanted to believe that, but that was no longer possible. I had received their message. It was pathetic of me to try and bend the meaning to my own convenience, regardless of whether my opponent were a mere human or a curse. I won't let it kill me. As if I was just bend over and give in, for no good reason at all.
ケイチくん
Keiichi-kun,
さっきから変な
you've been
顔して
making a really
る
weird face. Are you making a fan fiction in your head about me beating you to death with a bat?
Yes.
Again?
なんでだろう
I wonder.
Yes.
I wonder.
Inhaling sharply upon hearing Rena's voice, I came back to my senses. Before I realized it, we were already at the entrance. Shaking my head a few times, I exercised all those terrifying thoughts. No matter how you looked at it, there's no way Rena could have done such terrible things. It was like I was trying to placate myself. As I slid the door open, a blackboard eraser loaded with chalk dropped onto my head the moment I stepped into the classroom. The chalk dust went into my eyes, inducing a brief moment of agony.
鶴休みのケイチさんに
It'll
お
be
土産
fitting
とか
for
ね
the two-way Keiichi-san.
And we're back to normal.
ケイチもレナもおはようござ
Good
いま
morning
す
to
です
both of you, Keiichi and Rena.
おはようさとこちゃん
Good morning! Satoko-chan, Mika-chan!
Not quite in the mood for it, I didn't really react to Satoko's trap. Satoko braced herself as I passed by, expecting me to attack her. She seemed a bit disappointed as I simply walked by silently.
何なんですの
Wait, what is
張り合い
this?
がありません
How
わ
discouraging indeed.
Satoko went the nonchalant act.
ケイチまだ本調子じゃないみたいです
Keiichi doesn't seem back to his usual self yet. We should torture him more.
うん
That's a great idea.
だか
Yeah.
ら
Take
今
it
日は
easy
加
on him
減し
for
てあげ
today.
て
Okay?
Suddenly, there was a slap down on my shoulder. It hurt a bit.
よケイちゃんしっかり休
Hey,
んできた
Kei-chan, did you get enough rest? Did you finish the food?
I've already been to this song and dance. It was Mion. My mind was full with the stuff about Rena, but Mion was also a party of interest. Remember, Keiichi? That hawkish gaze from yesterday.
あおはよう
Yeah, morning.
なんだなんだ
What's with that
随分と覇気の
unenergetic
ない挨拶や
greeting?
差し入れのおはぎ
Did you eat
ち
the
ゃんと食べて
mochi
く
I
れなかっ
brought
た
you?
の
Not again. I'm like this because I ate them. Those words were itching to be blurted out.
やっぱ食欲がなくて
I
さ
really just didn't have the
いくつ
appetite.
かは食べたけど
I ate a few, but
だい
quite
ぶ
a lot
残
were
しちゃっ
left
たんだ
over.
あれじゃあ宿題は
Huh? What about the homework?
どれがレナの手作りかってのの
Do you
本
have
当
an
は
answer for which one was Rena's?
ケイチくん宿題忘
Keiichi-kun
れ
said he
物だ
forgot his homework.
ありゃ
Jeez,
仕方ない
then we
ね
can't help it. Time for your penalty. Did you eat my homework?
That's the problem, he didn't eat his homework. Flashing a lurid smile, Mia returned to her seat. There was nothing from our exchanges that would cause her classmates to suspect anything was amiss. But of course, Anyone listening to our conversations up until this morning wouldn't see anything suspicious. That was why it was so frightening. They acted in a way that, regardless of whatever happened to Keiichi Maibara, no one would ever suspect him. That fact had me terrified. Soon the teacher came. After she asked how I felt and took attendance, another dull, ordinary day began.
Nothing ever happens in Hinamizawa.
Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens.
Kei-chan, don't be a chud. We all know everything happens in Hinamizawa.
This brief study period was a convenient time to consider where I stood. I gently closed my eyes and pondered the ridiculous position I was in right now. First of all,
Please
I
let this
shouldn't
be a
forget,
normal day.
with the Oyashiro? No way! First of all, I shouldn't forget just how dangerous of a situation I was in. I had fallen out of favor with them. After interacting with Oishi-san multiple times, I could see as I was getting closer to the heart of the matter. The warning yesterday with Emochi was a good indicator of that. No, calling it a warning was just my habit of understanding things. They probably had no meaning beyond studying my progress and buying themselves some time. Until they had a method of completely erasing me. They were just biding their time. Even though they were keeping me under their thumb with threats, it didn't change the fact that I knew too much. The chilling sensation of my death made me recall Satoshi Hojo, the boy who was using this seed until last year when he disappeared. Was he also similar to me? Did he learn something he shouldn't have? And was erased? Damn! I wouldn't let them get rid of me so easily. Never! But
Okay.
were they really trying to kill me? I've had these contradictory feelings for a while now. Even though I suspected them, I felt I had to cover for them. Even having witnessed all their suspicious behavior, a morning like this just made it all seem like an elaborate hoax. No, that's just what I want to believe. Doubting my friends? Covering for them? My life was in danger. Or was it? Actually, I was debating the wrong point. Given my current situation, these points were something that should have been deliberated on a long time ago. But really, Rena and the rest of them, were they actually aiming to kill me? The little voice inside me continued to torment me with these unresolvable trains of thought.
Keiichi currently. I'm in danger.
Are you an idiot, Casey Maibara? The answer should be obvious. But maybe that sewing needle might have just been an accident, right? How could you screw up and drop a sewing needle into a piece of mochi? The benefit of the doubt can only go so far. Both Rena and Mion had acted and behaved suspiciously, but maybe it was all some sort of misunderstanding. What kind of misunderstanding? It wasn't just suspicious. It was outright ludicrous, right?
Ludicrous speed.
Rena just corrected me for lying, and Mion only asked me about what I had for lunch. Rena was standing outside my door eavesdropping for a solid hour. She was probably just waiting for my phone call to end. For a whole hour outside your room? And is it normal to go home afterwards without saying anything? Owned himself.
Totally normal person.
You heard from Oishi-san, didn't you? About what Rena did at her formal school? But at the hospital, she said it was Oyashiro-sama's fault. Cut it out, Casey, Maibara! Don't you realize they're out to kill you?
Yes.
I inadvertently blurted out those words out loud. Hearing myself say that so directly left me dumbfounded for a few moments. Afterwards, I looked around to check if anyone else had heard it. My little soliloquy cut a little too close to the truth. Even though I could feel the murderous intent from Rena and the others, part of me somewhere was still trying to deny that. This late in the game, such hesitation could be fatal. I knew that, but I was just your average student, a man living his normal, ordinary life. Do you think I could suddenly believe that my friends, who I had been happily laughing together up until last Sunday, now intended to kill me? Right? You're too soft, Keiichi! This time I remembered to keep my voice down so only I could hear it. There was one thing I now understood. I was too soft. I didn't completely understand how dangerous Rena and the rest of them were. No, I wasn't trying to understand. I was too soft for not listening to Oishi-san when he said he was earnestly showing me the heart of the matter. I didn't listen because I was too busy pretending to be dejected. I didn't comprehend it. I was just running away. I didn't comprehend it, so nobody had any notion to try and kill me? I needed to get rid of such naive thoughts. As I made that resolution, I heard the bell signaling the end of class. So soon. The day was already over. I didn't recall eating lunch or doing anything in class. My friends were putting their desks together in preparation for club activities. Not long ago, I would probably have happily jumped into that circle.
あらあらケイチさん
I'm right, Keiichi
帰
san.
り支度とはあんまりです
How rude of you to even think about leaving.
The way Satsuko spoke was so typical and familiar. It almost physically hurt.
あれ
Huh?
ケイチ
Keiichi
君今日
can.
は都合
Is
悪
today
い
not
の
a
か
good
な
day? I
か
wonder.
な
I
今
wonder.
日こそ二人で
If
大
we were doing
勝
something
利
big together. Oh.
Seeing Rena's expression, which said she really was looking forward to today, was hard to take.
And your prize, a needle.
Hey, Keiichi, maybe she sounded just some enormous jerk trying to separate me from the others that lying to me? Enormous. Slap.
I would never lie.
Trying to expunge such weak-minded thinking, I slapped myself in the face.
ケイチ君
Keiichi-kun?
Yeah, was Rena really trying to kill me? I wish someone would tell me it was a hoax. I didn't care if it actually was one or not. I just wanted someone to say it was. Ugh, yet another weak-willed thought. How did I ever become this naive?
大丈夫
Are you alright?
頭痛い
Does your head hurt?
Apparently that was how my inner dilemma appeared to
顔
Rena.
色悪いよ
You're
一
pale.
人で帰
Can
れ
you
る
make it home by
送
yourself?
ってった方がい
Maybe
い
to
か
the
な
company home, I
か
wonder?
な
I
い
wonder?
やいい
No.
Don't think about it too much, you'll get a
Yeah.
headache.
No, it's okay.
一人で帰れる
I can get home by
部
myself.
活はみんなでやってくれよ
Just have the meeting without me. Upon hearing that I wasn't going to participate in the club meeting, Mion pouted unhappily.
ケイちゃんがリベンジ熱望してた
Since
って
Keiichi was so bent on a revenge match, we were even going to play the deduction game from before too.
ケイチさんにはリターンマッチ
Keiichi
に
san
臨む
doesn't
熱い
have the
はあり
burning
ません
desire. Set it on fire for a rematch.
What does she
Oh,
know?
don't blame me. It was in here.
Word for word.
情けないですわね
How pathetic.
I wouldn't fall for some dumb taunt. Without even a real retort, I just grabbed my bag and was about to get up. Someone's hand perched itself gently on my head.
ケイチ具合悪そうです
Keiichi doesn't seem to be well.
かわいそうですよ
How very unfortunate.
Life.
Life! It was Rika-chan. She was dressed up as far as she could, doing her best to pat my head with her petite hand. It felt so nice, but she made things even harder. Sorry,
じ
everybody.
ゃ
See ya! That's all I said as I quickly left the classroom. They said something to me as I was leaving, but I couldn't make it out. I managed to make it all the way to the entrance in that state of mind, took out my shoes, put them on, and went forward. Forward. Harden that heart, Keiichi, my Bara. They were, for some unfathomable reason, trying to kill me. They were plotting something dubious, watching my every move. But I couldn't hate them, because weren't they my friends? Part of me lamented my naivety, while another part lamented the fact that I had lost something important by lamenting over it in the first place. It felt like my personality was being ripped in two, along with my body. If this is what Oyashiro-sama's curse was like, then it was just too harsh. Hey, Oyashiro-sama, I was wrong for not believing in your curse. But I believed in it now. Completely. Your curse does exist. So, seriously, give me a break. I beg you. Come on.
Little does he know, there's 7 more to go.
The seven evil Oyashiro-samas. Dinner was unusually bland. It had no flavor or aroma. It was elf foods. The miso soup that normally tantalized my appetite instead tasted like nothing but boiled water. Dad was eating with us that night. It was a rare occurrence in this household. When he got into his work, he ate and slept on his own schedule. My dad never cared about the time. Since my dad was at the dinner table, either the men he had just reached a good point to take a break, or he was just in a
とに
slump.
かく作家のモチベーションってものを理解してな
Oh
いんだよ
yeah,
彼は
he just doesn't understand the motivation creators have.
タイアップの話だって
Your partnership was just a verbal agreement, wasn't
そん
it?
なに反りが合わ
If
ない
it's
なら
hard to agree on things, why not just say it?
助け合いの世界だから
I feel
お
like
互い
it's an
様だとは
I
思う
feel like it's an industry with a lot of back scratching, but when it gets in the way of business,
I wasn't able to pick up much of my mom and dad's conversation, but I could tell it wasn't a very pleasant topic. That, of course, made the disgusting food even less appealing.
Money,
Staring-
money, 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 money.
Staring listlessly at the exchange between my parents, my mind wandered off to the same thought process I had going all day long. Friends close to me. No, they used to be friends, but I could no longer trust them. Right now, I was greatly lacking in allies. People I trusted, people I could depend on when push came to shove. They were something I just didn't have. Having just one ally would have been incredibly reassuring in the currently hopeless situation I was in. I put down my chopsticks and looked over at my parents, who were still talking about work. The first course of action that came to mind was to tell my parents everything. Currently, there wasn't a single person from Hinamizawa I could trust 100%. That meant the only people I could trust were my parents. But if I told them everything that happened up until now, would they understand? Rena, for
Nope.
example. That neighborly Rena, who was so diligent in looking after me, came to get me every day, and sometimes brought over a share of what she made. How could I explain that she wanted to kill me? No matter how I explained, it would probably be difficult for anyone to comprehend. My somewhat eccentric dad wouldn't understand, and my high-strung mom would probably drag me off to a psychiatrist in the blink of an eye. Sadly, that was the amount of trust that existed in our relationship. Even if they did come to understand, what could they possibly do? Unless they could uncover the truth, they wouldn't be able to protect me. No. By informing them of these unnecessary things, I'd be putting my parents in danger as well. Considering the victims in past incidents were often married couples, I couldn't even joke about it. Don't even joke, lad. For the entire my Bauer family to have an accident or to just vanish into thin air, it was easily possible in Hiyamazawa. What was important here was that knowing something unnecessary put you in danger. The most unsettling question was, how did they know that I knew? As long as they didn't know, my parents might not fall victim. That was one way to think about it, I guess. At least it was like that in my case. After I found out, things started becoming odd. In other words, it meant the following. As long as my parents didn't know anything, nothing would happen to them. Which means that this house would be a safe haven as long as my parents were in. I knew these were just assumptions based on conjecture on top of conjecture. Wanting this house to be a safe haven, that was the pinnacle of my weak-willed method of thinking. I had to concede that it was not completely safe. It was only safer than the outside. I knew that I couldn't rely on my parents. No, I couldn't risk getting my parents involved. The only person who could be my ally would be Oishi-san. Him and him alone. He was the only person who understood the situation I was in. He didn't care so much about my safety, but he was without a doubt passionate about solving this case. It was a bit frustrating. Oishi-san was basically the whole reason I was in this mess. Now to get out of it, I had to rely on him. Meaning, it was all going according to his devices. It was just my
according
job
to
to look.
Keikaku.
It was all just my job to look appetizing while bobbing in to wave his bait. Then, when the fish started gathering around, Oishi-san would pull up the big haul. It was slightly infuriating, but even I thought that was the best course of action. So then, what should I do? Patience was the first rule of fishing. Just keep waiting until the fish actually bites. It wasn't simply bait. There were lots of ways for me to struggle before being devoured. When they struck, I needed to somehow dodge just enough and tag out to Oishi-san. No question, it was going to be hard. The time to bring Oishi-san in would be difficult. He was in the city, not Hiyamazawa, so if I phoned him in a moment of need, it would take him about 30 minutes to reach me. So I needed to run away for those 30 minutes. For example, if he set up a rendezvous point for dire situations or something, I just have to hide out there until Oishi-san arrived.
少し
Okay,
見えてきたぞ。
I can almost see it now. I was still being chased around in the dark by a boogeyman, but now I knew which way to go. I would never have imagined this would be so reassuring. Oh
The
yeah,
Rena Ryugu boogie woman.
it would probably be best if I had a concealed weapon for when things got rough. Typically, I would call for a switchblade, but that wasn't too reassuring for combat. Also, since it was recognized as a weapon by the public, that also wouldn't be good. Really, when the time comes, a long weapon like a bat would work in my favor. I remember there was a metal bat at school. I could be confident with that, when push came to shove. If I pretended I was practicing my swing, then it wouldn't be suspicious of me to always carry it around. I could go to school early tomorrow and secure it. Just possessing a weapon may be enough to deter them. Also, one more thing. Insurance. It could be something like a note or memo. I could write down everything that's happened as a sort of journal. In case I suddenly vanished, the journal would be left behind. With my journal in his possession, Oishi-san should be able to avenge my death. I left my parents engrossed in their conversation about work and went back to my room. I tore out a piece of paper from my notebook and made my way to my desk. Last time I wrote a journal was for summer homework in elementary school. In the off chance that something bad happened, police could use my diary as a lead. So I should only write down the facts. How should I start? I jotted down my thoughts as they came. I, Keiichi Maibara, am in fear for my life. It made me laugh
I'm
nervously.
Keiichi Maibara and one of the main characters of Higurashi.
If you're reading this, I'm probably dead. It was a line I showed up often
And
in
you won't
detective
be
stories.
responsible for it.
An addendum added by Satoko. She's also in this journal. I never even dreamed that I would be in a type of situation where I'd write it myself. I do not know why they are after my life. Rena and the others were suspicious, but I had no proof, and that's why I couldn't write anything more. I laughed wryly at myself for writing such a passage draped in mystery. Would the police be able to get the hint from reading this enigmatic passage? I could only pray that they would. What I prayed for the most, though, was that this journal never needed to play its part. Here, I laughed nervously. It was too simple, so I wrote down one more line I just thought of. The only thing I do know is that it has to do with Yoshiro-sama's curse. This is a horrible note if you want to actually help with investigation.
Yeah, it's like, well, you fucked yourself.
I am in danger. Random people are making it so I feel like I'm in danger. This has something to do with Oyoshiro-sama. just say Rena Ryuku, like my neighbor, is probably out to get me. If so are all of her friends. If I'm dead, look into them
Her
first.
minions. And then Rena somehow just pops in while he's writing. It's like, Keiichi-kun, what are you writing in the journal of yours?
How'd you get in my room?
Don't ask. And it's just the fucking Yoshiro-sama eyes again.
Asking questions is against the rules. You will be punished accordingly.
Was that too much? I probably shouldn't write more than that. If I wrote any more, then it would seem like I was just delusional. He's vague posting, dude. In order to appear to the reader that the person who had written this was of sound mind, I chose not to write anything else at this point. I just needed to add more as I learned more about the truth. I folded the paper and thought about a place to hide it. By hiding it somewhere obvious, there was a chance that they would uncover it instead. On the other hand, if it was in too obscure of a location, there was a risk of nobody finding it at all. In the end, I decided to take the clock off my wall and stick my folded note in the back of it with scotch tape. After that, I put the cloak back into its normal position. Yeah, it didn't look like anything was hidden behind it. Now I need to set it up such that if anything happens to me, my parents could find it. I looked at it from countless different angles until I was satisfied and made my way downstairs.
Then
My
Erica's
parents were
like,
so
did someone say tape?
Everyone just shows up. Oh. It didn't look like it was going to end anytime soon, so I cut in.
話中ごめん。
Sorry to
ちょっと
interrupt.
聞いてもらっていいか
I
な
have something I want to talk to you about. I'd never started off a conversation like that before, so my parents were both startled. They stopped talking and turned towards me.
What is it, Keiichi? Oh wait, no, that's you, I think.
What is it,
お願い
Keiichi?
があるんだけど、
I have a favor to ask of you.
そ
Please listen.
の、
I'm coming out of the
もし
closet.
もだよ。
Just in case, yeah?
ケイイチ、急ぎの
If
話
it's
じゃな
not
きゃ後にし
urgent,
なさ
can
い。
we do this later?
お父さんとお母さんは
Right
ちょっと
now,
今
Mommy and
急ぎ
Daddy
の
have
話をしてる
something
んだ。
urgent they're talking about.
I didn't think their talk was more urgent than mine. In any case, I stated my
もしもだ
request.
よ。
Just in
俺が
case,
死んだら
okay?
さ、
If I die, both my parents' eyes went as wide as
死んだ
saucers.
らさ、
If I
俺の部
die,
屋にある時計、
I want you to put the
あ
clock
れ
on
を
my
棺
wall
に
in
入
my
れてほしい
coffin.
んだ。
If they did that, then they'd probably find it. My memoir. Both my parents remained wide-eyed, not moving an inch. I
あの
couldn't
時
blame
計
them.
工作の授業で
I
作った
made that
お
clock
気
in
に入りな
shop
んだ
class, and I
頼
really
むよ
like it. So,
どう
please,
したの
what's the
ケイ
matter?
チ何かあっ
Keiichi,
たの
did something happen? Mom was finally able to ask me without a questioning gaze. Of course, this was a normal response for when someone's son suddenly talked about a subject like this. I felt bad making them worry, but right now I just wanted them to think about the clock in my room. With the awkward mood leaving the room in silence, I decided to go back out to my room. He's just vague posting to everyone possible.
It's like, calm down, Keiichi, my father. No one will know that you are the king of vague posting.
What's wrong, vague boy? What's wrong, vague boy? Scared you might say
俺
something?
さ明日は早くに学校に
I
行きたいから
want to get to
も
school
う寝
early
るよ
tomorrow, so I'm
おや
going
す
to
み
bed. Good night. If my child was Keiichi Maibara, I messed up in life. But second, if he came downstairs and said, "Hey, if I die," if he started a conversation like that, and then I asked him if everything was all right, and he just said, "Okay, I'm going to go upstairs and go to sleep now. Good night," I'd be a little concerned. Like, is he going to survive past tonight?
Yeah, it's probably like, that kid's gonna die tonight.
Yeah, like maybe we should hire like a Rena to stay outside his room and make sure he's all right. Saying only that,
But
I
who
left the
would you
room
even
again.
hire?
Yeah. a, a Rena for hire, straight from the Rena factory. Rent a Rena.
Remember, Brenda is listening.
I needed to get to school early tomorrow and secure that bat. I should make today the last day I went to school with Rena. As I climbed the stairs, I heard my mom call my name, but I pretended not to hear her. It wasn't something I could talk about with my parents. If I talked about it, it'd only make things more dangerous. The fight that had begun was mine and mine alone. I couldn't rely on anybody. I wouldn't be killed. Now when I still knew nothing. Bed break. Alright, one tip. Pursue the truth behind the crimes.
Congratulations, you got an achievement.
Let's see. Back at the spot.
最近ケイチくんの元気が
Keiichi-kun's
な
been
い
feeling
ね
down lately.
機嫌が悪
Maybe
いの
he's in
か
a
な
bad mood. Couldn't imagine
さ
why.
てどうしたんだろうね
I wonder.
恋の
Maybe
病
he's
に
on
で
his
もかかってる
God damn it, Leon.
みーちゃん
Maybe he's on his
みーちゃん
period.
しす
That's gross.
ぎどう思うさあね
What do you think?
Don't know.
Get out of my
Out of
ears with
sight,
that
out
one.
of sight, out of mind.
ケイちゃんひょっとして
Could be that
Kana.
Kei-chan, maybe.
わかんない
I don't
あの
know.
日ケイちゃんと車で
That
話して
day,
たの
Kei-chan
中
was
年
in
の
that
でっ
car
ぷりした
talking
男だったん
to
でしょ
some tubby, middle-aged guy, right? Nobody calls me
間
tubby.
違いない
Yeah, no
大
mistake.
石のやつケイ
That
ちゃん何を
Oishi,
吹き込んで
he
るのか
probably
な
fed him something fishy.
真剣そうだったよ
Yeah, but
ケイチ
serious.
君は顔面蒼
Keiichi-kun's
白
face
だっ
is so
た
pale.
あのね
You
レナはよ
see,
く知らないだ
you
ろう
might
けど
not know
実
this,
はあいつ
but he's actually the
お
messenger of
社様の使い
Oishiro-sama.
なんだ
Rena's being gaslight in real. He's being gaslit in real time.
何の話
What do you mean?
あいつが現れるとね
Whenever he shows up,
必
someone
ず
is
鬼
demoned
隠しが
away.
起こるの
No lie.
あれ
Oh,
そうなの
was that
一
so?
昨年リカちゃんの
The
お
year
母さん
before
が犠牲
last,
した
when
でしょ
Rika-chan's mom drowned,
その
right?
直前に大石
Right
が
before
尋問
that,
して
she
た
was
の
visited by Oishi.
そういえば
Now that you
サ
mention
トシ
it,
君が転
it
校す
wasn't
る
long
前に
before
もいたね
Satoshi-kun transferred out too.
Oishi corporate theory. Oishi corporate
転
theory.
校レ
Transferred?
ナはいいやつだよな
You're so sweet, Rena.
Your laugh got cut out again. You're not allowed to have joy.
No!
で今度はケイチ君の前
So
に現
this
れた
time
ん
he's
だ
appeared before Keiichi-kun.
じゃあ
So
ケイチ君も鬼
Keiichi-kun's going to
隠
be
しに
demoned
なっ
away
ちゃう
too?
An empty silence hung in the air, and then it was suddenly interrupted by loud laughter. Lamau. Okay.
Totally not foreboding.
Kate
Yep, they're
going to
just
die.
totally
Lol.
normal girls.
Hashtag girl. This was the first time I'd ever woken up with such clarity. It was 5:55, just moments before my alarm would go off. I was amazed at the precision of my internal clock.
It's 5:59.
Oh, did I say 5:55?
I think so.
Okay.
Even though it's 5:49 p.m.
True. We're like 12 hours and in like less than 10 minutes ahead. I made preparations for the next day of school before I went to bed. Bed. I changed quickly and descended to this deserted lower floor.
Let's get this bread, Keiichi Barbara.
It appeared my mom was still asleep. Neither breakfast nor lunch was ready. Yesterday, as Due to Lottery declared that I would be leaving early today, so it couldn't be helped. I splattered her jam on some bread and topped it with instant cocoa. As I finished up breakfast, Mom rose groggily from her slumber. Hi, Keiichi. You're up early. Is there some sort of school event?
別に
No, not really. Answering bluntly, I picked up my bag and stood after stuffing 2 slices of bread down my throat. Stuffing.
I'm gonna be late for school.
You're leaving already? What about lunch? If you don't wait a bit, I can make it. I can't make it. If I waited for her to make my lunch, that would end up being the same time as usual. If I did that, it would raise my chances of me running into Rena and Mion on the way. Yes, from today onwards, I was going to go to school alone. I'll be fine for today. And what would you do for
抜
lunch?
け出して
I also
商店
thought
で
I'd buy
菓子パン
some
でも
bread
買
or
う
something at the store.
そう
This man's entire diet is bread and more bread. Really? And here's some lunch
ちゃんと
money.
レシート持って
Be
く
sure to
る
bring her
わ
back the receipt. I took the 1,000 yen bill from
How
Mom and
much
slipped it
bread
into my
have you
pocket.
eaten throughout your entire life?
1,000 yen bill. That's $10.
こんなに早いけど
It's pretty
レナちゃん
early.
たちもこんなに
Is Rena
早い
chan
の
up this early as
いや
well?
俺だけ
No, just me.
レナちゃんには
Did
早く出る
you tell
って
Rena-chan
伝
that you're
えて
leaving
あるの
early? I just saw her passing by, by the way. I have no reason to tell her every
What?
little detail now, do I? He really does have no reason. She knows every little detail anyway.
And that has George's foresight.
Finding it difficult answering the onslaught of questions, I made an annoyed face.
レナが来たらケイイチ
Tell
は先に
Rena
行
I
った
went
って
ahead
伝
when
えて
she
よ
comes.
ちょっとケイチ
Hey!
待ちなさい
Keiichi! Wait! It's that I didn't trust my parents. I just couldn't rely on them.
Not when Rena, the big, the big bad bitch, is on my ass.
They couldn't help me. I could only hope that they didn't get involved. It was safer that way. My mom's annoying voice was cut off by the slam of the door. For the first time since I moved here, I headed down the road to school alone.
Did Keiichi slam the door again?
Yes! He was just vague posting.
Again? I wonder who we got it from.
Oh, you wouldn't want to know. It's horrible. Up until now, I'd always walked down the same path at the same time each day. So I always met the same people, the same places. But today was different. I didn't meet the people I would normally, and nobody was at the places where I would have normally met them. Of course, Rena wasn't at the spot where we would usually meet, and there wasn't anyone at the spot where we would have met up with Mion. The length of the trees' shadows, the morning air, and the brightness of the sun. It was a completely different type of morning from what I was used to. Without a doubt, it felt strange. It left me with the impression that I had destroyed the illusion Hinamizawa had set up for me before I had enough time to prepare all the props needed to deceive me.
あらケイイチ君
Illusion?
Oh,
今朝
Keiichi-kun!
早いわね
You're so
みん
early
なで
today.
早朝から
Is
待ち合
everyone
わ
meeting
せ
early this morning? First who called out to me was someone we always passed by as we were taking a walk along the edge of fields. Their name was, I forgot. Of course, it wasn't the spot where we usually
今
pass
朝
each
は
other.
早くに目が覚めちゃったの
I
で
woke up early today,
気
so
分
I
転換なん
thought
で
it
す
would be a good change
あ
of
まり気に
pace.
しないでください
That's all. I threw out a
レ
random
ナちゃんや
excuse.
ミオンちゃんはどう
What
した
about
んだ
Rena-chan and
今日は一
Mion-chan?
人なの
Are you by yourself
え
today?
えまあ
Well, yeah. I was being asked the same type of questions my mom was asking, so I answered them in the same uninterested, vague manner. He admits to vague posting. It wasn't funny being asked where Rena was each time I passed by someone, but maybe it was to be expected. It was because for so long, we were always together so amicably. Even I felt that if I let my guard down, we could still be Stop it, Keiichi! Don't think about that anymore. You spent all of yesterday thinking about how dangerous it was to go soft, didn't you?
Yeah, they broke up.
They did. Beep beep beep. A car horn blared from out of nowhere. Even though I was walking, lost in thought, that horn was way too close. The mechanical behemoth barreled at me from behind, catching me completely off guard.
It was a
By the time I
car.
turned around, the van's hulking chassis was almost on top of me. I've seen plenty of cars veer to the opposite shoulder to avoid pedestrians, but this car was doing the opposite. It felt like there was somebody on the opposite shoulder, and the van was swerving in my direction to avoid them. That blissfully ignorant train of thought delayed me from realizing something much, much more important. That large mass was rolling right at me. Was it going to hit me? The inside of
Keiichi,
my
look
head.
out!
The inside of my head was instantly flooded with a painfully cold liquid. In that moment, I seen before me. No, time itself had frozen. In the silence of that frozen moment, I compared the van, so close that I had no way to dodge it, to my body. The upper half twisted awkwardly in order to look behind me. There was no way I could dive out of the way in my current position. If I lost focus now, this moment would unpause, and I would probably be plowed over, caught in a silly pose. Then my upper body towards the patty by the side of the road. If I bent far enough, I'd get away with just being hit by the side view mirror. As soon as the thought crossed my mind, the temporal stasis was shattered by the deafening sound of the van. Side mirror struck my shoulder, sending me spinning off through the air like a top, and locked in my quarter position. Splash! Sent tumbling through the air, I crashed into the muddy patty by the side of the road. My entire body was soiled and drenched, but the choice I had made in that instant was unmistakably for the best. I was covered in mud, but when the alternative was being hit by the car, it was the closest I could be to being unscathed. Rising out from the patty, I had enough time for me to glare over to the stopped van and yell profanities at the driver. I'm not sure if he was able to see me, but the van sped off suddenly.
待てよクソ
Wait, damn it! This
引き逃げって言うん
was
じゃ
what
ね
they
え
call a
の
hit
よ
and run, wasn't it? I couldn't help but continue yelling out profanities. The disgrace of being covered in mud hurt me more than any physical wounds. I slogged through the muddy patty and made my way back into the road.
これって犯罪じゃねえのかよ
This is a crime, goddammit! Shit! I'll track you down and sue you. If I go looking for a van, I'm sure I'll find it in this little village. The path I was on had rice paddies on either side. It had become so narrow that one car could barely fit through. It wasn't a place where you could tear full speed down in a car, let alone pass by pedestrians. Not only was it a narrow road, the car just now was closer to my side of the road than the other when it went past me. Even as I cursed, I was definitely trying to suppress the dark cloud rolling up within me. This wasn't just a hit and run. That car just now was trying to run me over, wasn't it? Thinking back, I did feel like there had been a car creeping up on me slowly for a while. That's
Do the
right.
Jaws thing.
As soon as I parted ways with that person taking a walk, I had a feeling the whole time. If it wanted to pass me, then I had no shortage of chances. Normally, I would have felt suspicious and turned around sooner. But I was lost in thought, and I was kicking myself for not realizing it was there sooner. And then, when the path became narrow and there was no one else in sight, he floored it. If I had hesitated for even a moment, the result would have been no laughing matter. As their adrenaline rush from being run over subsided, and the realization of how terrifying the preceding events were sunk in. There was no doubt about it. That man was intensely trying to hit me. A cold, vicious sweat seeped from my scalp and slid down my back before dribbling off. I struggled to avoid falling into a panic. There was still the possibility that this really was just an accident. Calm down, Keiichi. But also don't be so naive, Keiichi. Eating that lax will get you killed next time. You need to always be on your toes. Don't give them any openings. If my enemy was really out to kill me, then next time, they would use a more reliable method. If that time came and I was acting like I was now. Getting covered in mud was the price I had to pay for my own naivety. Covered in mud, without injury. Not even a sprain. I guess this was what you would call the silver lining. I began walking again, this time cautiously. I wouldn't even show a hint of carelessness. I had suspected only Rena and the others up until now. No, it was because I had suspected them that I had to believe they were no other enemies. Keiichi-san had said so, didn't he? There's a possibility of a village conspiracy. Was I really mired so deeply in the situation that I had no choice but to try and carry on as usual? Wouldn't it be safest to just hold myself up in my house?
Yes.
The moment I had abandoned my regular routine, everyone around me would abandon theirs as well. That was just too horrifying of a thought. I recalled the tales Oishi-san told me of when Himazawa was still called Onigafuchi, a frightening tale of an entire village of demons hunting their prey, surrounding them and eating them alive. One must not interfere with the demons. One must pretend not to see it. The enemies were numerous, the whole village. The villagers, with their unwavering faith in the curse, would do nothing to help me.
One does not simply interfere with the demons.
A strong, sudden flash of sunshine made me slightly dizzy. I had no idea what was going on anymore. When I suspected it was the work of man, I would catch a glimpse of Oyashiro-sama's curse. And when I suspected it was Oyashiro-sama's curse, someone would poke their head out. What was coincidence? What was intentional? Who was my enemy? Who was just a bystander? No, what I really truly wanted to know was, how did I end up with the proverbial bullseye painted on my back? Eventually, an answer in a form I could understand will appear. I don't care when that will happen, because until then, I cannot die. That alone fueled my resolve to fight and will keep me alive. Whew.
Wanted
was a-
Keiichi Megara. Reward $1 billion. Or just 1 billion yen.
True, or the yen equivalent. I remember seeing the metal bat in the gym storage shed. There was a padlock on the door barring my entry. At the very least, I wanted to get my hands on it before everyone else arrived at school. I circled around the school grounds impatiently. But all I could find were things like pieces of lumber, nothing that I could bring to the classroom easily. Then I had an epiphany. I should search inside the classroom. If there was something in the classroom to begin with, then there wouldn't be a problem. I could tell that everyone's indoor shoes are still in their lockers. Good thing I came early. No one else was here yet. I wondered, what could I find in the classroom? I didn't think I could find an especially effective weapon like a bat. But it couldn't be helped at this point. Until the gym storage shed was open, I needed to find a substitute. A lingering hint of naivete whispered that there was no way to be attacked at school. But such soft ideas would no longer protect me. To think that they were slowly making their way into parts of my life that I had once thought impenetrable. In the worst case, my own house might not be safe anymore. That was an incredibly frightening thought. But I believe that not considering the worst case scenario would have been even more frightening. Anyways, I will survive. So long as I lived, then I will definitely be able to escape this labyrinth of nonsense. Definitely. My exploration of the classroom came to an impasse. That much was to be expected. There was no way there would be anything that could be a weapon in the classroom. In case of emergency, there was probably nothing I could do but swing my own chair around. My gaze landed on the lockers that had come to be used for personal storage. The locker that Mion used to store her pile of games was among them. There's one for each person in the class, all lined up. Of course, there was one for me as well. Oh, yeah, there was supposed to still be a tracksuit in my locker. Seeing me covered in mud would be strange. I should go change later. But first, I needed a weapon. If one of my classmates came, it would be hard to rummage through all the lockers. I swiftly began opening the lockers one by one. They were mostly just filled with things like gym clothes, personal items, and umbrellas. An umbrella. If I couldn't find anything better, then this would have to be my weapon. I was about to give up on finding anything decent when I opened a locker that held exactly what I wanted. It was, without a doubt, a metal bat. It was well worn and pretty beaten up, but there was no doubt it was usable. In that locker that reeked of mold, there was also a baseball uniform. It was probably the locker of a student in a Pee Wee League or something like that. If that was the case, then he'd probably ask for it back. At that time, I could hear the voices of children scuffling their way in noisily from the hallway. Amongst them, I could make out Rika-chan and Satoko. I wonder if that bat's Satoshi's bat. Especially since the locker hasn't been used. Oh my god.
That's a good question.
Banger post, by the way.
It's for later.
Good morning.
The creature. My, you're quite early this morning, Keiichi-san.
I nonchalantly hid the bat I was holding behind my back.
What is with your outfit? You're covered in mud.
まあ、ちょっ
Yeah,
とあってな。
I had a little
すぐ着
incident.
替えるから勘弁
I'm
しろ。
going to change now, so cut me some slack. With that said, I began taking off my clothes. Satoko began to blush just as I expected her to.
レディーの前でお着替えなんて
Cheating in front of a lady? Have you no tact at all?
Keiichi would change in front of two elementary
着
schoolers.
替えをじーっと見てるレデ
I
ィ
would
ー。
think that a lady
She's
staring
not
at someone who was
tonight,
changing would be the one lacking in
男子は
tact.
更衣室がないんだから諦め
There's
ろ。
no changing room for the boys, so just deal with it. There's no changing room for the boys.
Really?
19,
Wait, why can't you
1980,
just
like...
use the bathroom?
Oh, true, yeah, just use the bathroom. There has to at least be stalls or something, unless that also doesn't exist. As Satsuko feigned disgust, she went into the hall, still blushing. Conversely, Rika-chan continued to stare at me, preparing to
リ
change.
カちゃんもレディーなら
If
着替えを見てる
if
のは良くない
Rika-chan
と
is a
思うぞ。
lady as well, then I don't think it would be appropriate for you to be
僕はレ
watching.
ディーじゃないですから
I'm not a
いいので
lady,
す
so it's fine.
She deliberately pouted and looked at me with upturned eyes.
じゃあリカちゃん
Rika, you
も
little shit.
今からレディーだ。
Then, starting now, you're a lady.
レディーなら仕方ありま
If
せん
I'm a
です
lady, then I suppose I must.
Rika-chan, appearing to be satisfied with being considered a lady, made her way to join Satsuko in the hallway. Just as I breathed a sigh of relief, Rika-chan stopped suddenly and turned back towards me.
ケイチは野球を始めます
Are
で
you
す
going to
か
start playing baseball?
It seems that Rika-chan had noticed a
あ
bag.
あ、ちょっとさ、
Yeah, just, you
体
know,
がなまってさ、
I was feeling a bit out of shape,
ちょっと素振りでも始め
so
よ
I
う
thought
かな
I'd
って
just
な
try practicing my swing.
健康に気を使うのは
I think it's wonderful you're taking care of your
とても良いことだと
health.
思い
I
ま
know
す
you're
です
on to.
She was talking like an old lady, despite her appearance. After saying that, Rika-chan started to leave again, but stopped and looked back at me once
そ
more.
のバットなくさないで
Please
くだ
don't lose
さい
that
ね
bat.
です
It seems she already knew
And
I
don't
took it
use
out of
me as
someone's
a
locker.
weapon.
There's no name on the locker door. I don't know whose bat it was, but I would be borrowing it until they complained. It wouldn't be for long, just until the gym storage shed was opened. After quickly changing into the tracksuit, I checked the time. Still plenty of time for class again, because I came so early. I took the bat in one hand and went up to the schoolyard. That was, of course, to practice my swing. I needed to make it known I would always have a bat on me so I could practice my swing. He's so... Not only is he a vague poster, but he's also performative. He's like practicing the swing so he knows that people... so people know that, hey, I'm the swing guy, I'm the bat guy. You know me.
He's waiting. I think he's just waiting for Rena and Beyond to show up, and then he'll just fucking swing them. Swing the bat at them.
No urgency whatsoever, not even waiting for them to, like, make a first move. So...
No, even better, just have Rena and Beyond with the fucking Oyashiro Sama eyes, and he's like, not today, bitch!
Then he calls Oishi. Okay, I think I neutralized the threat. We should be good now.
That wasn't a threat. That was Yamcha.
At some point, the sunlight had become even stronger. Disregarding my classmates as they made their way to school, I took my position in the shadow of the school building. I wasn't the academic type, and I wasn't much of an athlete either. I might get muscle pain if I just suddenly started swinging. I should at least start out with some warm-ups. I doubt anyone would think I was doing something out of ordinary, which was the exact opposite of my actual mental state. I gripped the bat and swung lightly.
1, 2, Rena's coming for you.
The bat was by no means light. The weight would make it a reliable weapon when I needed it to be. Of course, I can only pray that the moment I needed to use this as a weapon would never come. Just carrying it around could deter attacks against me. At least, that's what I hoped.
Just carrying it around, this level of bat swinging is possible for Furudo Erika. What do you think, everyone? Oh my god! No! No, they're here already! No, don't tell me it's actually gonna fucking happen. Huh?
ケイちゃん
Kei-chan?
ての
What are you doing?
Being bombarded with such a hysterical voice, I jumped.
ケイチ
Oh,
野球部だ
Keiichi-kun,
よ
are you on the
野球
baseball
部だ
team?
よ
On the baseball team?
It was Rena and
先
Mion.
に行ったって言われて驚いたけ
I
ど
was surprised to hear you went off
Kei-chan.
ahead. What are you
What
doing,
are you doing?
Kei-chan?
見てわからないかよ。
Can't you tell by
素振り
looking?
だよ。甲子園
I'm
だよ。
practicing my swing. For the championship.
別にダイエットでもいいぞ。
You can say it's part of my diet if you
ダ
want.
イエットってケイちゃん
Diet
そんなに
of
太ってたっけ
Kei-chan? Are you really that fat?
I don't think he's fat enough. All he eats is like bread and Hooters food.
Kei-chan, did you look up something on DeviantArt and it was something questionable? After
All right,
all, you wouldn't lie to us, right, Kei-chan?
all right, Keiichi. For your next punishment, we're gonna force feed you. Forget force
What?
spending. We're forcing something else on you.
Oh no. I'm scared to see what it is. Please don't tell me. Please don't tell me it's that bad. Please tell me this will be a normal punishment.
With the
Where
meat?
we're going,
No way.
we don't. Where we're going, we don't need a normal punishment.
They're force feeding him mochi until he guesses which one.
All
His
right,
homework has become a
Kei-chan, since
test.
you did not finish the mochi, I'll let you guess which one has the needles.
It's a Danganronpa punishment.
It's punishment time.
ああ、知らなかったろ。
Bet you
実は
didn't
三段
know.
腹なんだ。
I actually have a beer
もち
belly.
もちでタプタプなんだぞ。
It's plump and jiggles.
もちもちでタプタプ。
Tickles.
レナ、
Rena,
Rena, so
you
not
don't
easy.
have to imagine something weird like that. To distract
Don't
Rena
even
from
think about
imagining
it,
something
Keiichi.
that vulgar, I ruffled her hair messily.
じゃあ
My eyes are up here.
頑張って県大会
Well
を目
then,
指して
hope you
ちょうだい
make
よ
it to regionals at least.
おじさん応援してるわ
This old man will cheer you on.
野球部の強い高校
Regionally
Oshioka.
speaking, it seems that Oshiba High is pretty
そ
strong.
こにい
Let me
る
fight
左
it.
腕の亀田くんがすごいピッチャ
They
ーなん
say
だ
their
けどさ
southpaw, Kameda-kun, is amazing.
Komaeda-kun.
頑張ってね
No! Don't bring that evil among us. Good luck.
Means they've already taken me for a baseball nut. But, oh well. Well, if I really did make it to the championship, it would be a cinch. After all, I'd be the pitcher and catcher. I pitched the ball, then run past that ball, I just drew and changed over to being the catcher in a burst of super incredible explosive speed.
1, 2, 3
I
strikes, you're out. 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out.
I laughed Charlie at the ludicrous image. Going back to my senses, I smashed a bat against the ground. Damn it!
何笑ってんだ
What am I
よ。
laughing at? I pounded the ground over and over. With each impact, the reverberation traveling through the brass stung my hands.
Don't do it,
This-
Keiichi, you'll blow up the planet.
If they smile at me like that, ow, ow, ugh. Don't allow anyone close to me. Don't trust anyone. No matter how many times I tell myself that, if they made me smile like that, I'll... ugh. I already knew quite well that there were demons dwelling in my smiling friends.
The show? But I just couldn't believe it. That Smiling Friends is ending.
That really specific reference, Smiling Friends is ending, said on the TV with like Keiichi, Battler, like Rena, Beatrice, some Lexiconia character, Nagito all reacting on the other side, like those like Google images, really specific fan arts.
Well, you know what must be done.
But I just couldn't believe it. Did that kind of split personality even exist? Like how Rena confessed to the doctor. Is simply being possessed by Oyoshiro-sama?
That
In
wasn't
other
me.
words-
I wish you did it.
Did a supernatural being like Oyoshiro-sama really exist? It was possessing everyone to try and kill me? Yeah, that would be wonderful. If only everyone were actually my friends all along and everything was all just
前
Oyoshiro-sama's
原
fault.
圭一のバカ野
You
郎。
damn fool, Keiichi Maibara!
だから。
Come on now! I yelled out, drawing out all the power from the pit of my stomach, and raised the bat violently into the air.
甘えるんじゃねえ。
Stop being so soft! I screamed out with all my might. I beat the metal bat into the ground over and over. With every impact, my weakness was being beaten down. Smash! Forget. Smash! Don't be soft. Smash! Know your enemy.
Critical hit?
Smash! Like hell I'd let them kill me. My shoulders heaving up and down from my rapid breathing, I heard the first bell ring just as I calmed down. Mion and Rena just like watching that from not even the corner, a discreet corner, just like a mile distance away because Keiichi's still locked into his own delusions. Just seeing him.
Yeah, she's gonna be like, he'll never know.
I gasped with a sudden realization. That was the final bell.
It was
I
all
felt
a
all the
dream.
tension drain from me and let out a deep breath. My mind was in its mental state for most of the entire day. I didn't feel like I was awake, but I didn't feel like I was asleep either. He was just outside the entire time, beating the ground up with a bat and, like, yelling to himself. He was probably visible from, like, someone's window, and no one came to check on it.
Either
really
that
is-
or he just dreamed it.
I guess he just woke up at his desk. I couldn't say I felt especially comfortable, but I felt a kind of relief that the sanctity of the school part of my daily life had yet to be violated. How long would I have to keep living on like this? I could only grit my teeth and bear with it as this living hell slowly gnawed away at me.
Keiichi-kun, come on! It's club time! Club time!
The sound of Rena's voice brought me back to my senses.
ほらほらケイちゃんぼーっとしな
Come on, Kei-chan. Stop spacing out.
机を寄せて寄せて
Bring your desk. Your desk.
Everyone's moving their desks together as well. That's right. It was happy fun club time. Happy fun, la la la. I had no intention of taking part. I haphazardly stuffed the contents of my desk into my bag as I prepared to go home. It was a weak-handed gesture to avoid actually having to say, I'll be going home now.
なんだよケイちゃん
What's this,
今日
Kei-chan?
も直帰なわけ
You planning on going home right away again?
Mion sounded quite
気
disappointed.
分が乗らないんだ
I'm just not in the
しばら
mood.
くほっといてく
Could
ん
you
ない
just
か
let me be for a while? The ton of words that spilled from my mouth matched Mion's disapproving glare. It felt like the air in the room had dried out. Satsuko looked like she was about to say something, but perhaps dissuaded by the mood, she swallowed her words and stayed silent. Nobody said a thing. I took that to mean that I could leave if I wanted. But the collective gaze of the four of them, like the tiny pins that used to mount an insect in the display, held me in place. Verna was the one who cut through the heavy mood.
ケイチくんやっぱり女
Keiichi-kun,
の子と一緒
he
に
just
遊ぶ
didn't
の
like
か
playing with
嫌だっ
girls,
たか
I
な
guess.
か
I
な
guess.
She said it in such a melancholic tone that it sent a wave of pain racing down my heart. If this pain was going to kill me, I wanted it to be the soft part of me that could still feel pain. I tore at my chest, finally tearing out the pins that held me in
そういうわ
place.
けじゃねえよ
That's not it at all! I may be hurting myself by saying anything more, so I swallowed my words. Cutting things off there, I turned away and exited the classroom. They didn't speak a word to me as I left. Okay, the Keiichi hates women play was actually a pretty creative move by Rena. I'm surprised it didn't work out.
Poor bastard.
It was a
That's why
long
he'll forever stay single.
all his options trying to kill him, unfortunately.
He's like Denji.
Parallels. Batman, wait.
Like, oh, the girls are out to kill me.
It was a long, dull trip back home, but I didn't lose focus. I firmly squeezed the grip of the bat, which was already soggy from sweat. Realizing that, I wiped it down with my sleeve. If something were to happen, I didn't want it to be slippery. Since this morning, I'd become especially sensitive to the presence of cars. Even while walking, my ears pricked up, and sought out threatening sounds and presences that could be closing in. And that was why I could hear it. Without a doubt, there were footsteps. Those footsteps had matched up perfectly with mine for a while now. From what I could sense, it was just one person, but I had no intention of being careless. Did he intend to follow me like that car this morning until they were in a good enough position to assault me? Until they were in a good location to assault me? Then it wasn't a good idea to keep walking like this. I stopped walking and looked back. The wooded path crowded with trees responded with silence as if there was nobody here to begin with. But I wouldn't be fooled. I was certain footsteps were following me. And just as I stopped, the footsteps stopped as well. Meaning, the person following me wanted to keep their distance. That was, without question, proof that I was their target. I held my breath, waiting for that presence to panic and start moving again. The trees rustled with the sound of the wind. The Higurashi also joined in a dissonant chorus, trying to throw my focus into disarray. Had 5 minutes passed? Or it had been like this for a whole 30 minutes. It was so hard to breathe that I might have suffocated. I deemed he would be the first one to panic. It seemed I would be the first one to panic. Without a doubt, he was lurking in the shade of that tree with bated breath. Then, I'd make the first move. I fixed my grip on the bat. I raised it up to my shoulder to be ready to swing at any
Oi!
time.
いるだ
Hey!
ろそこに
I know you're there. With all my might, and I screamed at whoever was hiding in the shade of the trees. The presence in the shade didn't budge. Until the moment I found them, they had no intention of revealing
分かってん
themselves.
だよ
I know
そこにいる
already!
のはよ
I know you're there! I screamed out angrily at them again, but even then, they didn't move at all. Then, I'll go over there myself. With all due diligence, I approached step by step. Stepping into the tree's shadow, I saw a human figure there. That figure was curled up like a small animal.
レナ
Rena. As she realized I had found her, her expression softened. She seemed apologetic, but wasn't going to speak
な
a
んか
word.
俺に用かよ
Did you have some business with me? I wouldn't accept that silence and screamed the question at her. Not really, it's just, Rena was in a panic with tears welling up in her eyes. But it was obvious she had been
部
following
活
me.
はどうしたんだよ
What about the club?
圭一君がお休みしたから
I'm
関係
not.
ないだろ
That shouldn't
な
matter!
んか気にしないで
Don't mind me and
遊
just
んでよ
play.
だって
But I'm just
圭一君のこと心
about
配
you.
で
Thinking about how I'd been acting up until now, it wasn't hard to imagine that my behavior could have been perceived as strange. So Rena was concerned, at a quick glance, that's how it seemed. But I wasn't going to let my guard down that easily. Even if it was really the case, she still wouldn't have to do something like that to try to tail me. She should have called out to me when I was leaving and gone out right with me. But Rena didn't do that. She kept her distance from me and matched my walking speed. On top of that, she matched the sound of her footsteps and deeply tried to hide her presence from me. Then, after she realized I noticed she was there, she held her breath as she tried hiding from me. She wore a timid expression that would force one to take pity on her. But without a doubt, she was
もう
tailing
ついて
me.
くんなよ
Stop following me. Still glaring at Rena, I continued walking onwards. After I had walked for a bit, she ignored my command and began walking again, so I yelled at her
つい
once
てく
more.
るなって言って
I told you not to follow me!
だって
At my house in the same direction!
さあレナが先
Walk
に
ahead of me! Let's start
Yeah,
walking once I can't see you
Mark.
anymore. I moved out of the way and waved my bat violently to urge her forward.
レナは
I'd
圭一君と一緒に
home
帰
together
りたいな
with you. She's showing all the cards to Keiichi right now. She's just like spamming commands and hoping they'll land. Making a pitiful
She's
expression.
Like, she's like, fuck. He's on to me. I gotta come up with something. Go play B.
Making a pitiful expression, she immediately squeaked out the words in a voice that she knew would cut into my heart. That agitated me to no end. I knew it was a lie. If you wanted to go home together, then you should have called out to me. Now you're just blurting out random lies. Sorry. I'm sorry. It seemed that the seething anger within me was written all over my face. Even without me saying anything, Rena hadn't understood what I was feeling
分かっ
inside.
たならほら行け
If
よ
you get it, then go. I swung the bat, urging her again to walk. Rena looked back and forth between me and the bat and started walking hesitantly, then stopped
早く
again.
行けよ早く
Go on then! Hurry!
行くから
Going!
バット
So
や
please
め
stop the bat! It's
てよ怖い
scary!
の
Rena guarded herself while pointing at me holding the bat. She may have realized I wasn't planning on using this bat for baseball. I lowered the bat, but still guardedly opened the way for her.
これな
Go.
ら文句ないだろ
There's no problem now, is there? There was nothing else she could protest. She passed by me timidly so as to not set me off. As I watched her pass by, she had stopped completely after having barely moved at
おい
all.
立ち止まるなよ
Don't stop! Then a powerful gust blew past us, arousing my face with dust. The dust got into my eyes and clouded my vision. I rubbed my eyes with my left hand. I swung blindly with the bat on my right, protecting the small opening I presented. Rena didn't even try to attack during that opening. Attack me? No, she hadn't budged an inch. I could tell from the sound of her fluttering skirt in the wind. As her skirt settled, flooded to silence. At that moment, the voice inside me immediately warned me of impending danger. I was caught by surprise. The smell of the air had changed? Without me realizing it, the air around me suddenly felt like a calamity was about to befall me. It was like the air had suddenly become invisible concrete, like Rena and I were locked into space. Rena didn't move an inch. Also unable to move, I stared at her right back. Rena was the first to break the silence. Instantly, she altered her stance. I felt like I had just witnessed her shift from Rena to that other person who looks like Rena, but the voice was one I knew well, which filled me with a kind of bewildering pity. Carelessly, I felt relief upon hearing that pitiful voice.
Well,
その
excuse me, but,
その
um,
聞いてもいい
ask you something?
Too shy to even turn around, Rena squeezed her voice out desperately as she
なんだ
trembled.
よ
What?
Uh,
あのね
well,
あのね
well,
どうしてバット
why do you
なん
have
か
a
持ってるの
bat?
かな
I wonder.
The question Rena asked was by no means
俺が
unexpected.
何を持ってたっていいだろ
I can carry whatever I want.
でも昨日まで持ってな
You
か
didn't
ったし
have one up until today.
どうして突
Why
然
so suddenly?
別に突然でもいいだろ
It's alright if I decide to do something suddenly, isn't
俺
it?
がバットを持ってるとおかしい
Is
か
it
よ
strange that I have a bat? Master Vague poster.
だって圭一君
Because
野球
Keiichi,
とかしない人
you're
だ
not
った
the
で
kind
し
of
ょ
person to play
おかし
baseball.
いよ
It's weird.
I couldn't tell what kind of answer she was looking for, and I was getting tired of
突
answering
然
her.
野球
I
がし
just
たくなった
suddenly
んだ
got the
よ
urge to play
それじゃお
baseball.
かしいか
Is that so weird?
おかしいよ
It's weird.
She answered instantly, and that annoyed me
突然
slightly.
野球がしたくなった
I just suddenly wanted to play
素振りがした
baseball,
くなったから
and I wanted to
バットを持ち
practice
歩
my
いてる
swing, so I'm carrying around a
それの
bat.
どこが変なんだよ
What's strange about that?
お
Strange.
かしい
Weird.
絶対なんで
Definitely.
圭一君
Why
ま
you
で
too?
Okay, yeah.
ぶつくさとうるせえやつだな
Satoshi definitely had that shit around him before he disappeared. Your ramblings are annoying me.
俺がスポーツに目覚めるのが
Is it that strange for me to have an interest in sports? I tried to sound a bit more threatening to end the conversation. Until my suspicions about Rena were cleared, I had no obligation to answer her questions.
ごめんね
Sorry.
そ
Sorry.
んなに怒ら
Don't get so angry.
Rena still didn't turn around and spat her words out of apology one after the next.
最後に一個
Just
だけ
one last
一
thing.
個だけ教えて
Tell me one last thing.
これ以上
What
話す
were
か
they?
教える気もねえよ
I don't feel like talking
早く
anymore.
行けよ
Hurry up and go! I yelled loudly at her, causing her to flinch like she had been struck. Seeing her in such a pathetic state caused my heart to ache sorely. But even though she was afraid, she stubbornly kept herself from moving. Before I was able to threaten her again, Rena asked her final question.
なんでバットまで
It's
同
even
じな
you're
の
not the same.
What did she mean by the bat was the same? I had no idea what she was talking about.
お前何言ってん
What
だ
are you saying?
I mean,
なんでバット
why
ま
is
で
even
同
the
じ
bat
なのか
the same?
何を言ってんだ
I
か
don't understand what
全
you
然
mean
わ
at
かんねえ
all.
もっとはっきり言
Say
え
it clearly. Even still, Rena didn't turn around. After inhaling deeply, she screamed.
だから
I mean,
どうしてバットま
why
で
is even the bat the same as Satoshi-kun's?
Okay.
What a twist.
Are my memories from having seen Ray read this coming back, or am I a good reader? I can't tell.
サトシ
Satoshi being... huh? Upon hearing the name out of the blue, I became dumbfounded for a brief moment. By Satoshi, did she mean the student who transferred out last year? No, that couldn't be. Rena had tried to cover it up by saying he transferred, but Oishi-san told me quite clearly that he was missing. He was the student who sat at my seat up until last year. He was believed to have been deemed away by Yoshiro-sama's curse. I didn't know the details about his disappearance. The aunt he lived with was killed the night of the Watchanagashi by a drug addict, and not long after that, he suddenly vanished and was now missing. Now Satoshi and I were... What? My gaze fell to the bat in my hands. Could it be? Satoshi Hojo. It was a bit difficult to see, but that was what was written on the white tape at the end of the bat. I see. So this was Satoshi's bat.
ああこれ
This
サトシのバットだ
was
ったんだ
Satoshi's
誰も
bat.
使ってなかったんで
Since
ちょ
nobody
っ
was
と借
using
りたん
it,
だよ
I borrowed
いい
it.
だろそれくらい
That's not a problem, is it?
そんなことじゃない
That's
よ
not it.
The way Rena said that made it seem like this bat was something that should never be touched. Like it was some sort of offering at a shrine, or a memento of the deceased. I can only stand there, perplexed and unable to respond. Rena continued speaking without waiting for a
サトシ
reply.
君の時とど
Why is it
うして
said that you're doing the exact same things Satoshi-kun did when it happened to him?
Rena was talking about more than just a bat belonging to
サトシ
Satoshi.
君もそうだった
It was the same with
野球
Satoshi-kun.
チームには
He
入
joined
っ
the
てた
baseball team.
本
He
当は
didn't
野
really
球
like
それが
baseball.
俺とどう
What does that have to
関
do
係
with me?
サトシ君も
Satoshi-kun
ある日
also
突然バットを
suddenly
持ち歩
started
き
walking
始
around
め
with the
た
bat
チー
one
ム
day.
に入ってた
He
だ
joined
け
a
で
team,
スポーツなん
but
かし
he
ない
wasn't
人
trying
だ
to
った
play
のに
sports.
What about it? I closed my mouth before I could say that out loud. Listen carefully, Keiichi. Reina's trying to tell us something
サト
important.
シ君もねある日突然
Satoshi-kun
一人で
also
登校するよう
one
にな
day
った
came
の
to school all by himself all of a
君
sudden,
みたいに
just like
そ
Keiichi-kun.
してね
And one day, he suddenly started panicking and practicing his swing. Just like Keiichi-kun. And one day, he suddenly began carrying the bat around with him. Just like Keiichi-kun. And one day, he suddenly...
And one day, he suddenly... What? Rena had swallowed her words. When a sudden silence brought a hush back to the surrounding area. It was then I could finally digest the content of the entire conversation. She was saying my chain of actions was exactly the same as Satoshi's. What was the meaning of this? Up until just now, I'd forgotten all about Satoshi. I had never paid much thought to him in the first place. Not only that, I didn't even know anything he had done. Not only that, I didn't even know anything of what he had done. My actions today should have been my own creation after all the planning I had done. But they had been the exact same as Satoshi's? Then Satoshi... No. More importantly, if both Satoshi and I acted the same, then there really was a good possibility that what happened after would be the same. Rena,
ある日突然
that day, what happened to
どう
Satoshi?
したんだよ
Rena knew. She knew what became of Satoshi. No, forget about what happened to a guy in the past. Rena knew what was going to happen to me.
答えろよレナ
Answer me, Rena!
サトシは
Satoshi,
どうしたんだよ
what happened to him? With that, I grabbed Rena's shoulder violently and forcibly turned her around to face me. As I faced her, I felt a chill travel through my entire body.
言ったよね
I told
ケイ
you,
チ君
Keiichi-kun.
It was that person that I didn't know.
Use the bat.
At least, it definitely wasn't the Rena Ryugu I've been talking up until now. The voice just now didn't have a trace of the trembling or emotion that it had had before. The amount of regret I felt for turning her around so carelessly was unsurpassed. Her gaze that pierced like a cold needle. The smile on her face that invoked an image of having been carved out by a knife. Chills went down my spine. My mind froze under a layer of rime. Both of Rena's eyes had pierced through mine, leaving me unable to look away. As if to remind me of the fear from that time before, Rena brought her face close to mine, so close that I could feel her breath. Her face had filled my entire field of vision. Then, her sharply shaped lips grew even sharper. With the curve of a crescent moon, she grinned.
言ったよね
I told
ケイ
you,
チ君
Keiichi-kun.
After a short pause, Rena repeated the same words
サ
again.
トシ君はね
Satoshi-kun, you see,
転校しちゃった
transferred
の
out.
Transferred? Meaning what? What Rena meant must have been some kind of new definition of transfer that I was previously not aware of. My throat and lips dried up. I couldn't even acknowledge what I had just heard. All I could do was swallow down my own saliva. It would seem that Rena saw that as a nod. She pulled her gaze back and spryly stepped back 2-3 paces. As she did, my legs gave out and I fell to my knees pathetically. Rena, and me on my knees underneath her emotionless smile. That had to be a very odd sight indeed. Seeing me in that pathetic state, she neither scoffed at me nor held out her hand. I could neither stand nor escape with her gaze shooting through my eyes. There was undoubtedly a metal bat in my hand, but right now it was useless to me. It was like a fly caught in her web. Heavy sweat beaded all over my body. I could feel it dripping from my skin.
しないよね
Bet you won't,
ケ
will
イ
you,
チ君は
Keiichi-kun?
Rena finally released me from that cage of time after what felt like an eternity. But her question was missing something important. It was incredibly vague. Yeah, you know about vague. Once again, I swallowed hard, urging her on.
何をだよ
Do what? What did she not want me to do?
転校
Transfer?
Damn it, Keiichi, like, use the bat and hit it. Hit her.
Ooh.
I should know that again. If you did, we wouldn't have a second chapter.
Toshi and I...
Pinch hitter, take up another's bat.
Oh, Toshi and I had what? All my well-planned actions throughout the day turned out to have been nothing more than a reenactment of what Satoshi had done. Satoshi. Had he really been in the same position as I was now? The friends he had gotten along with had changed suddenly, and for no reason, at least none that I had noticed, planned to kill him? Then, fearing for his life as I am, he got a bat to protect himself, and carried it around every day to practice his swing? And then one day, suddenly,
He transferred.
my blood went cold, causing a prickling sensation to course through my veins. Starting near my heart, it radiated outwards, from the top of my head to the soles of my feet, chilling every part of me about the course. What does she mean by transfer? What does she mean by transfer? Was Satoshi still that wherever he transferred to? Was he the only one who would be able to understand me? Would he be able to tell me why it all ended up like this? More importantly,
he's
where did he
dead.
transfer to? What does he mean by transfer? What does he mean by transfer? Before I knew it, I was at my front door. The frigid knob was hard to turn. Was nobody home? It wasn't that odd of an occurrence. I reached out to my pocket and pulled out a single key attached to my fur seal keychain. Oh, it's a cute
Keychain,
little
may
thing.
borrow.
I stepped into the entryway. As soon as I was about to take off my shoes, a chill ran down my spine. Someone had entered right behind me. I
Oh,
caught
no.
messing around, standing right up against my back. You're kidding, right? It had to be my imagination. Logically speaking, it was impossible for someone to be able to hide their presence within my personal space all the way through the door. But there was undoubtedly someone behind me. Hey now,
She's
hey
right
now,
behind me,
Keiichi.
isn't she?
You know how do you know that they're there, even though they're behind you? Because I could hear the sound of flowing hair. There's no other reason I'd hear that sound. That was the presence. Because I could hear the sound of them blinking. Keiichi might borrow. There's no way you could hear that! Those base instincts were warning me of the presence. Common sense was telling me that it was just my imagination. It was just my imagination. There was nobody behind me. I began to erase the mental image of an eerie figure standing behind me. But at the same time, I asked myself, if there was nobody, what was I feeling? An uncomfortable sensation crawled up my spine. Actually, wouldn't it be better if there was somebody there? If there was nobody there when you turned around, would you be able to accept that? I'd be able to answer all those questions just by looking behind me, but I didn't have enough courage to do even that simple task. Oh, hey, I could try speaking to them. The person behind me might answer me. It was a random thought. I didn't care how I went about it, just so long as I didn't have to turn around. If I had calmed down and thought about it, I would have known that wouldn't have solved anything.
どなたで
Who
す
is
か
it? I spoke in such a hoarse, broken voice that I couldn't believe it was my own. I could almost feel them contemplating their response. I felt it. There's no way I should be able to do that. Calm down, Keiichi. It's all in your head. That time, I was certain I heard it. As if hesitantly trying to answer my inquiry, I was certain I could hear the sound of somebody inhaling. I heard it. I heard it. I heard it clearly. It was a girl. A young girl. I didn't know who, but a tiny speck of courage in me, however reckless it was, inspired a primal yet fitting solution to this current predicament: a scream. All the force of my body released from my lungs and through my throat, ceasing all thought processes in my head. Suppressing all my thoughts and emotions, I began to collapse like a house of cards, somehow managing to twist my body and look back as I did so. It was definitely there. Right there. Somebody was there. Until the moment I turned around, until I brought the area behind me to my field of vision, they were definitely there. Falling face up, my eyes traced the remnants of their presence suspending in empty space. It couldn't be. They were invisible. It looked like they weren't there. But were they actually still standing there? As I screamed, all the emotions I was holding back burst free in a violent wave. However, I was decidedly calm as my emotional dam collapsed. The turbulent wave of pent-up emotions was skillfully diverted into a torrent of aggression. That emotion was definitely required to extricate myself from the bizarre situation happening right in front of me. In my state of heightened lucidity, I entrusted my body to the fury. The metal bat held firm in my right hand as if it were drawn there by a magnet. A mid-level sweep would be the hardest attack to dodge. I remember reading about something like that in a book about swordsmanship or something. My brain is solidified. The after-image of that amalgamation of metal flashes as it swung from left to right, beating against the entryway. The bat slammed into the right wall, the tip rebounding violently. Very calmly, I transferred the force of a rebound to a sweep to the left. The door to the shoe cupboard was split into pieces. Those two swings whiffed through the empty space, but they seemed to have a great psychological impact on the enemy. I could feel their panic emanating from that space. The attack wasn't the only thing required. I extracted the bat from the cupboard, and it was embedded in, and it screamed as I swung my entire body rather than a large arc. My scream shook the air, imbuing my ferocious swing with even more destructive power. Crack! Without mercy or restraint,
destroyed the house.
my violent strike, with certainly fatal force behind it, shattered the top of the cupboard. None of my attack struck the enemy, but my ferocity has certainly seemed to impact him. Breathing heavily, my entire body soaked in sweat, the invisible enemy, there but not there, dispersed. When I was certain that the enemy had retreated, I locked the front door and lashed the chain. No way, did I only feign breach. No way. Had I only feigned retreat and was now inside my house? Once again, I channeled my aggression and searched the house for the presence, but it was gone. I had succeeded in fending it off. At that moment, the tension trained from my body, and I let out a deep sigh of relief. All the emotions I'd been holding back chaotically merged together and began to flood out. A hodgepodge of fear, accomplishment, and disbelief all mixed together and began to flow through my body. Unable to deal with each individual feeling, I beat them all back with the strongest exhaustion. Even in this moment, I remained composed. After checking that all the doors throughout the house were locked, I went up to my room on the second floor and closed the curtains. I straightened my back and tilted my head a little. After clearing my mind of all idle thoughts, I managed to calm me down even more. What was at the front door? There was definitely something there. Thinking about it, maybe it was just an apparition that I dreamed up in my confused state. But I really didn't think that was the case. Calm down, Keiichi, my partner. Compose yourself. But no matter how calmly I thought about it, what just happened wasn't the figment of my imagination. It was obviously a supernatural phenomenon, and without a doubt, something was behind me. It wasn't some sort of illusion that saw amidst my confusion and disorientation. Proof? I had just one piece. When I asked who is it,
real?
they inhaled as if they were about to answer. The person behind me! The person behind me is real! As he swung his back. Or he swung his bat, rather, at his back. Well, he also swung his back, too. That sound had clearly reached my ears. The situation I was in right now was still unclear. Either I'd been possessed by the supernatural phenomenon known as Oishiro-sama's curse, or this was a ruse by the villagers who believed in it and were intimidating her, and were imitating it. Either way, their motives were unclear. The roundabout way it had been done was also a mystery. If it was perpetrated by humans, that would mean admitting that it was Rena and the rest of them doing it. But it would be solvable. Oishi-san and the rest of the police would surely arrest my enemy. But if it was a manifestation of Oishiro-sama's curse, I wonder what would happen. Oishi-san said very clearly to declare that curses don't exist. At that time, those words were pretty dependable. But as things were right now, with the rising possibility that the perpetrators were not human, it suddenly seemed quite unreliable. If I told Oishi-san that this was the work of Oishiro-sama's curse, what would happen? I couldn't imagine his reaction, but it would go without question that a void would expand rapidly between myself and Oishi-san. With me having so few allies to begin with, and not being able to confidently declare whether or not this was a curse, there was no merit to doing that. I better keep the facts of what just happened at the doorway to myself. It would be better if I didn't add what happened here to the memo behind the clock. Here we go again, vague posting. Add it! There's no harm. Even if you seem like a crazy person, so what? You're crazy, but there's some merit. There was still the ever so slight possibility that I was actually confused when I thought I was composed. I was just going berserk in the entryway. How wonderful would that be if that really was what happened? I'll be able to refute Oishiro-sama's curse. But I denied Oishiro-sama's curse, and that would mean... What if I denied Oishiro-sama's curse? That would mean admitting that Rena and the rest were the perpetrators. If I said that Rena and the rest weren't the perpetrators, then that would mean believing in Oishiro-sama's curse. By denying both of those, I'll be admitting that I myself was losing it. The three options from which I couldn't choose became a trilemma of sorts. They mixed together and formed a whirlpool in my mind and making my head spin. Once again, I straightened myself and leaned my head back slightly to cool myself down. Calm down, Keiichi. Accept what has actually happened as reality. Stop thinking of anything more than that, but I couldn't help but think it. How wonderful it would be. If it turned out I was delirious and everything up until now was a figment of my imagination. Oishiro-sama's curse wouldn't exist and I would still be bestest buddies with Rena and the rest. That'd have to be crazy. That was the first time in my life I'd ever wished for such a thing.
Does he know?
Does that make me crazy? Or something. The phone rang noisily downstairs. Generally, there were no calls from me, so I never really answered the phone much. But since my parents weren't here, I had no choice. I squirmed off the bed and went downstairs. Hello, this is the Maibara residence. Keiichi? This is Mom. I intuitively had a bad feeling about this. It was because I thought she was going to ask me to go out and buy some things. So I took the initiative. What? I don't mind having instant noodles for dinner. There's still a lot of them. The other day, we went out as a family and bought a whole case of cup noodles. I wanted to get a bunch of different kinds, actually, but he refused since the individual packs were so expensive. Instead, I got a whole case of the mega-sized pork bone and ginger flavor ones I liked. Oh yeah. My parents didn't like strong flavors and didn't touch any of them, so the cupboards were still full of them. So you see, there really isn't a need to go shopping, right? Keiichi, I'm not asking you to go shopping. Both Mommy and Daddy have to go to Tokyo right now because of work. Huh?
Uh-oh.
Right now? Hi, Epic. This was really abrupt. No, we're already here.
Frodo is playing dead.
We left this afternoon. It's quite a distance from Tokyo from Hinamazawa. Running at full speed down the highway, it would still take 6 hours. Dad has a license, but since he doesn't like the highway, they likely took the train. It would have taken longer. I'm thinking you might understand since you heard us speaking last night, but it has to do with Daddy's contract. Right now, things aren't going so smoothly. Now that you mentioned it, I did remember that they talked all that time about how his job prospects weren't looking so good. Daddy is really sensitive about things like this, so if we leave things as they were, it will affect his work. Part of my father's particularly fragile is artistic personality. His emotions change as easily as a false guy. You could also just say he couldn't take criticism. He gets criticized once, moves to Tokyo. But something like that can be done over the phone. Keiichi, this is your father's job, so can you support him a bit, please? My life's in danger, Mom! Anyway, it's just faster to talk about it in person, so there wouldn't be any misunderstandings. As your son, there was nothing more I could say once I started talking about work. So, we'll be back tomorrow night. Keiichi, will you be fine on your own? No. Oh, it's not like I'll die or anything. Keiichi, you shouldn't speak so lightly of dying. If there's something troubling you, just talk to us. I believe Mommy will be able to help out. Yesterday I did bring up if I died rather abruptly, so I suppose they were a little worried. Not too worried to not leave for Tokyo, both of them, and just leave me here alone.
Yep, totally not death flags.
Yeah, he's kind of building up a lot of booster flags. But really, I was more depressed by the fact that nothing will be solved by telling them. But I didn't plan on dying. At least, now I still knew nothing. I would never allow it.
I'm not dying. I'm gonna live forever.
I won't die. I won't. I'll survive, even if I have to gnaw my leg off. I'm also here.
I am back.
Okay, right.
And now we're back.
Actually, we're not. Let me do something. Actually, while we're on break, I also need more time to. My throat is hurting me. I don't think I'll be able to make it past this chapter. Having to being a snotty dumb teenager for over the course of a novel is harder than I thought it would be. Okay. Keiichi, if it was Kendrick Lamar, if Rika and me both got along, they'd probably have me down by the end of the song. Seemed like Hinamazawa would go against me every time I'm in the street. I hear. Hi, I'm back.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah, I also had to walk the dog. Also, it was raining.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully, my dog is really small. I just have to put boots on him.
Thankfully, there are no murders.
That's true. It's not raining enough. It's not raining enough to lock off the city I'm in. Okay.
And
Alright.
now we are back.
Yes, we are back. Okay. Yeah. See you then. Tomorrow morning, make sure to wake up and eat your breakfast. And don't forget to take a bath and brush your teeth. Yeah. See you.
Don't forget to stay alive.
To call into like that. Sometimes my parents went up to Tokyo for business meetings, but Tokyo was far away. They normally did things by phone. The times they did go were normally planned out in advance. It never happened this suddenly. I couldn't say that those circumstances didn't feel strange or, rather, unnatural. Anyway, I only needed to recognize the reality of the situation. That tonight, I was the only one in the house. That when my parents came back from work, I'd be gone, missing, vanished. Looking back on the series of events of the previous 5 years involving Oyashiro-sama's curse, it wouldn't seem that strange at all. Come to think of it, it was getting pretty late. I didn't think it was good that the only light in the whole house was from my room on the second floor. It was the same as broadcasting to the enemy that my parents were gone. This was their chance. First, I ran to the living room, flicked on the lights, and turned the TV on to a reassuring volume. Next was the study. I similarly turned on the lights and some music. With this, from the outside, it would look like my parents were here. Once again, I went to my phone. I went to the house, checking to see if there was anything left unchecked.
What do you think he would
Left
be
unlocked.
listening to while that's going on?
Okay, what music even existed back then? Like he would be listening to like some boring classical music, some da 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 or something. Now, of course, the funny options. I don't know. It's like what year does Higurashi take place again? I feel like even looking that up is like putting me in spoiler territory.
Well, not 1986, because that's Ibuneko.
I think it's 4 years
So
before, like
earlier than that.
1982.
I think it's like
Whatever.
83.
Okay, well, whatever was popping in '83.
It would be, if it was really funny, Kill 'Em All by Metallica.
That's time period accurate. Like that will work. Hold on. Wait, there's a good chance that there's a good chance that the people of Hinamizawa have listened to Michael Jackson's discography.
Probably. Guess you could say it was a thriller.
Uh,
Watch me somehow be wrong.
I looked up what was popping in '83, and I saw like the
Okay,
top charts
wait,
was like
82. Aha, I was right.
okay, oh '82, oh whatever, Michael
Yeah,
Jackson's still out.
82 for thriller.
Oh, oh my God, yeah.
And technically, Kill 'Em All by Metallica was 1983.
He
And
foresaw
the people
Metallica
that are
possibly.
afflicted with the curse are search it and seek and destroy.
Just have that blasting, through the studio. That's just a normal night. By the my bar residence. Things are operating as normal. No need to look inside. No, don't investigate.
Don't get on the plane. What?
When I saw the veranda and the laundry still hanging out there, I went pale. That would have made it way too obvious. I need to take it down. I smashed down the laundry haphazardly and erased all traces that my mother wasn't there. It should be fine now. Ah, the garage! They hadn't gone all the way to Tokyo by car, but they had gone out to Okonomiya Station. The garage was empty, wide open, and in plain sight. This was not good. I panicked and rushed out the back and closed the normally open garage door. It should be fine now. Ah, I need to get this paper. Mom always got the paper. Since I left in the afternoon, the evening paper was still out there. He is paranoid. My premonition was correct. I pulled out everything from the mailbox and dropped it in the entryway. With this, for sure this time, it should be fine. Come to think of it, even the cupboard busted like that from my little freakout was kind of bad. I had to say I tripped and fell, and the bat I was holding smashed into it. Even so, just leaving it in its current state wasn't good. I had to clean it up a little before Mom got back and scolded me. I remember there was a broom and dustpan in the closet. As I was going to get them, the phone rang once again.
もしもし、前原です。
Hello, this is the My Bar residence. Huh?
Oh. Oh, is this Keiichi-kun? Is your mother around?
She's here at the moment. You idiot Keiichi, my bar! Don't you feel like your parents are gone? You can follow up still. Calm down and take care of it. I think she'll be back soon. That wasn't a good response either. I didn't mind say to call again or tell her to call them when she comes back.
Then that's fine. It wasn't anything important. Okay. Sorry for the bother.
The scenario I feared didn't play out, eliciting a sigh of relief. That call was fortunate in more ways than one. I'd have to deal with any telephone calls coming in from my parents tonight. I was somehow able to get with the phone call just now. I was somehow able to deal with the phone call just now, but I couldn't continue to rely on such poor improvisation. I needed to make up a good story to explain that my parents were home. I couldn't answer the phone at the moment. They were making tempura and couldn't step away right now. That wasn't good enough. They were sick and went to bed because they weren't feeling well. Was that going to be safe enough? I was thinking about it on the way back to my room when the phone rang once again. It was like they were calling because they knew I was going to lie. I didn't want to pick up, but I knew I had to. They suspect my parents weren't here. I should have just taken the phone off the hook under the pretense I didn't realize that it was. But since the phone rang, I had to pick it up. I prepared myself and lifted up the receiver. Hello. I stopped announcing this was a mind of our residence. I had no reason to be kind to someone I didn't know the identity of. But unlike my uncouth voice, the person on the other side sounded goofy and lighthearted.
Hello. My apologies for calling so late. This is Oishi from the Okonomiya bookstore.
Oishi-san!
Is that you, Maebara-san? Good evening. Good to hear you are doing well.
Wait just a moment, please. I grabbed a portable headset and rushed out to my room with it. It was the same no matter where I was since there was no one else home, but I didn't want it to be in a good spot, I just felt a bit safer when speaking on the phone with Oishi-san. Sorry for the wait.
How are things? Anything changed since then?
Since then, when was that exactly? There was something about the brazen way he talked that rubbed me the wrong way. The last time I spoke with Oishi-san was 2 days ago. The day I stayed home from school, I met Oishi-san on the way back from the hospital, and we had headed into town for lunch and had a talk. And after that, Rena and Mion came to check up on me. Whenever I spoke with Oishi-san, they always knew about it. It was like that since the first time I met him. Today's phone call may well be found out by them as well. Hello? Sorry.
Hello? Can you hear me, Maebara-san?
Sorry. What did you say?
I asked if anything's changed since last time. There wasn't an answer, so I got a bit worried.
Not really. The words stopped in my throat. There was a ton of stuff that happened. All of it baffling. What should I talk about? Didn't understand any of it, but I should try asking. If I didn't ask now, I may never have another chance. This night when my parents weren't home, I had no guarantees that I would make it through the night safely after all. Well, Oishi-san, it seems that someone is after me.
Really?
It could all just be a coincidence, but that day I missed school when I was sick. The 2 of them came to check up on me.
Which 2?
Rena and Mia. They started asking about how I had lunch with you.
What next?
They left me with some mochi, and they came to visit. There was a needle inside. Fortunately, I somehow didn't swallow it. I wonder, did that have just been a threat?
About the needle.
It was just one of those common sewing needles you see all the time. There's a hole that threads string through.
Not that, Maebara-san. The needle itself. That's evidence. It could be used as proof that they threatened you. Where is that needle?
That's right. That's it! Yeah, honestly, I would have... No, okay, I'm not gonna say, oh, if I was Keiichi, I would have done this in this moment, because I'm very smart. But it's like, the best course of action would be keep the newspaper, keep all the mochi that's been uneaten, and the like needle-filled mochi, all the needles you found. Like, you gotta give that up to somebody. I dropped the receiver and rushed downstairs. When I tossed the mochi, I'd overlooked it out of terror. That needle was a valuable piece of evidence. Let's see. I drew the mochi and needle at the wall together. It was there. It would be on the living room wall. My prudent mother had cleaned that living room wall. There was not a trace of mochi left on it. Could it be that it dropped in the gap between the wall and the carpet? I frantically searched by running my palm along the carpet, but nothing turned up. I tried moving around the sofa and desks, pulling up the carpet and flapping it around. I couldn't find the needle. Did my mom clean up everything without noticing it? It was just 2 days ago. I didn't know what day they collected the burnable trash, but it may still be in the trash bin in the kitchen. I rushed into the kitchen, opened up the lid of the pail, and poured out the contents. But even at a glance, I could tell that it would be incredibly difficult to find a needle in a pile of trash. You don't exist yet. Stop playing Fire. I was looking for the needle in the trash set. I know. I'll try running my hand through it.
Repeat it! You don't exist!
It was a bit gross, but I was looking for a needle. If I felt a small prick, I'll be able to find it. It's a pretty tactless method, but it was the quickest. I held my breath and started striking the pile of trash in my hand. Filth flew about. There was nothing more disgusting than this, but it was not the time to be concerned with such details. I continued on for a while, but nothing turned up. I wanted to search more thoroughly, but I was still on the phone. I shouldn't keep Oishi-san waiting for too long. Later, when Mom got back, I'd have to ask her if there was a needle. I hastily began scribbling on a notepad affixed to the refrigerator with a magnet. Was there a needle? I scrawled the words with a red pen. Then dashed back up the stairs, where I had been keeping Oishi-san waiting for far too long.
Hello? How did it go?
I couldn't find it. I was really overwhelmed when it happened, and...
I see. It would be great if you could find it. Keep it safe.
That's right. The needle wasn't the only incident. I had to tell him about this morning with the hidden run. Also, Oishi-san, that isn't all. Actually, this morning, that van was definitely aiming for me. I could say that without question due to the circumstances at that time.
Did you see the license plate? I could search for it from here.
Damn! The time I just flipped out yelling at him. I didn't look at the plate. Not failures on my part, the neither in the plate number. I was so focused just protecting myself that I let some of the most important details slip out of my grasp. I punched my pillow and knew how worthless I was. Then I noticed there was a needle in the pillow. I'm sorry. I don't know much more than that, but that was a white van.
Nothing to fret about, Mayvara-san. Anyone would be shaken up after being hit.
I guess all this really isn't a coincidence, is it?
How much do you want to bet that Keiichi's parents are also in on it? That's why they probably cleaned up the mess.
Not to mention they're leaving a lot. There's even a lot of openings where Keiichi's also, it's like Home Alone.
Yeah, very convenient that they are out of the house.
Right. They've been... Keiichi's parents have been, working against them actively in, subtle ways. Mom didn't even let him stay home from school yesterday. Or the day before.
Yeah, they're like, tough shit.
I wish his son started to hem and haw over on the other end. I can imagine him folding his arms. Also, Rena's acting strange.
How so?
But Rena said on the way home today, asking why I was so much like Satoshi-kun. Now I can say it with confidence. That Rena knew what happened to Satoshi. She knew that there was more to it than just simply disappearing. Rena knows. She knows something regarding what happened to Satoshi, the kid who was demoned away last year.
What would that be exactly?
Rena said, I was the same as Satoshi. She said something to the effect that, the way things are going, I'll end up with the same fate as Satoshi.
Fate? You say? As in the novel? As in the franchise? Exactly what kind of fate did she say would befall you?
I think it was the gacha game. But transferring out, she said.
Transferring out? As in mana transfer?
Rena said Satoshi transferred out. So, given how things are going with me, I'll transfer out too. Oishi-san let out a stern sigh and grumbled loudly.
Mayvara-san, that was probably some sort of threat. Or maybe some type of warning. That's what I was saying! I think...
I thought so too. At that point, I started to think. Would it be prudent to sum up everything that had happened up until now as the machinations of some human perpetrator? Rather than the theory of it being Ren and the others, I was left with Oyashiro-sama's curse actually existing as the only explanation. Of course, I couldn't tell that to Oishi-san, except Rena's strange behavior could be proof of either scenarios. Alright. Alright, call it mental disorder or curse. Which is it? According to, like, some people, it's basically the same thing.
That's
Especially
a
since
good question.
1982.
Hey, good question. That's tough. I feel like it could go either way.
I think Rena's just like in a constant state of being like gaslit.
She's being gaslit by Makima, obviously.
Uh, fucking Mionma at this point. Whether it was Oishiro-sama's curse being real, or everything being part of a conspiracy committed by all the villagers, Rena was involved. Rena had to know something. Rena was suspicious. What exactly was Rena? Couldn't help but think she was somehow involved with the prior string of mysterious deaths. I seem to recall that Oishi-san admitted that he had dug into Rena's past a little. He was probably just downplaying it when he said a little, meaning he had actually dug pretty deep, most likely. I wanted to hear about Rena. I wanted to know what happened at her previous school, among other things that were still unknown to me. If Rena was somebody I should suspect, no, not that. I wanted to know the truth. Tonight I was alone in his huge house. Even though I said I couldn't count on them, I had lost the security I felt I had just by my parents being around. It wasn't like this house was some sort of fortress or castle. If a malicious person decided to use brute force, they'd easily gain entry. There were no other residents close to the Maibara residence. No one could be able to hear anything, no matter how loud it was. I had never felt as much resentment towards my father's artistic temperament, and the fact that he had this house built in such a remote location as I did right now. I wondered if I would still be here by tomorrow morning, so I had to ask, right now, because I had no idea when the next chance would come. Oishi-san, I had something I wanted to ask about. Please don't keep anything from me.
Wait a minute, didn't the bell just ring?
What are you talking about?
Like, did you hear that?
What? No, I'm on the phone with Oishi.
Sure, ask away.
Even though he was so far away near the end of the line, this was the most reliable he had ever felt. I wanted to ask about Rena. About what happened at her previous school. Actually, regarding Rena's... I noticed a sound that had been going on for a while now. Since I was so focused on the call, I hadn't paid attention to it at first, but I finally realized it was a doorbell. The time was 7 o'clock. It was past the time the postman would be making a delivery, and past any sensible time for a neighbor to be visiting. I considered just acting like nobody was home, but that wouldn't be good. That would ruin all the work I put in making it look like my parents were home. I need to answer the door.
Hello? Maibara-san?
Sorry. Someone seems to be at the door. I'm going to go see who it is.
A guest? I see. My apologies. Should we end this phone call now?
That would be a problem. No, I'll be back in a second. Do you mind if I just leave the phone on?
It's fine. I don't mind.
Not my bill. I dropped the handset on my bed and dashed down to the door. I need to make up a good excuse to get them to leave. I had a hunch it was the lady who called right before Oishi-san did.
Who is it going to be behind the door?
Oh, I wonder. A person who hasn't seen the scene before at all. In which case, it would be one of the neighbors who's friends with my mom. I'll just say mom isn't feeling well and went to bed early. That would be the easiest option. It'd be hard for her to ask me to wake up mom. Wait, it would be hard for her to ask me to wake my mom up if she's not feeling well. I'll continue to ring at regular intervals. If someone didn't answer after you rang the bell so much, you'd normally give up and go home, wouldn't you? Without removing the chain, I opened the door slightly and peered out at the visitor. A chill ran down my spine. I knew it. Somewhere deep inside, I had prepared for this moment. I tried to escape by imagining it was the easiest person to deal with. One of my mom's friends. Good evening.
Rena.
Oh no!
There shouldn't be any reason for Rena to come over at this hour. The timing also made me feel uneasy, because it was just as I was about to ask Keiichi-san about Rena. I wish I could have chalked this up to mere coincidence. But those unsettling words from Mion several days ago echoed back to me.
There's nothing. This old man doesn't know.
Are you alone, Rena? Yeah. It seems that Mia wasn't with her. That didn't change the situation at all.
何しに来たんだよ。
Why did you come here?
ねえケイチくん
Hey,
ちゃんと
Keiichi-kun,
ドアを開けてお
I'd like
話し
to
したい
open.
な
I'd like you to open the door so we can
レナ
talk.
は玄関に入
Can
っ
I
ちゃ
come inside?
ダ
I
メなの
wonder.
かな
I wonder.
かな
It was true that speaking through a train door wasn't the right way to talk to a classmate.
うち
But,
夜は必ずチェ
at
ーン
my
食べて
house,
る
the
んだよ
chain has to be on at night.
気にすんなよ。
Don't worry about it. You'll get a headache.
なら仕
Then
方ないかな
it can't be helped, I guess.
Rena looked at the ground sadly. But she kept smiling at least, and her effort to keep that smile up was quite pitiful. Even though she was tugging at my heartstrings, I didn't lower my guard. As long as I stayed like this, even if it made my heart ache, my life wasn't in danger. What I really feared, more than the possibility that hoodlums would assault me if I removed the chain, was trusting Rena enough to remove the chain, and having my friendship betrayed. As long as the chain wasn't unlatched, even if I made my heart ache, I wouldn't have to deal with being betrayed by Rena. Since it didn't seem like I removed the chain from her silent urging, she appeared to give up on trying to get into the entranceway.
あのさケイチくんご飯
Have you
食べた
eaten yet, Keiichi-kun? I happen to have a remote with me.
No, I haven't eaten. Since my mom wasn't there, dinner wouldn't be ready no matter how long I waited. I laid down when I got home, was woken up by the phone, and didn't have a chance to eat since I used up all that time talking. I was going to have cup noodles in any case. I could just eat one whenever I wanted to.
まだだよ。
No, not
そ
yet.
れがどうしたよ。
What about it? And you threw. And you gave it away. You should have said I ate dinner. My loving mom made it. It was quite delicious.
Rip.
じゃあよかった
Good.
これ見て
Look
お惣
here.
菜とか持って
I
きてあ
brought
げ
a
たの
bunch of dishes.
Uh-oh.
Extra needles.
Rena held a stack of boxes wrapped in a cloth.
お台所とか貸してくれれば
If
お
I
味
could
噌
use
汁
your
も
kitchen,
温めてあげ
I
ら
could
れる
heat
よ
the miso soup and other stuff.
いいよ、そこまでし
It's
て。
fine. You don't need to
で
do
も
that.
でも
But
お
there's
豆
a
腐
lot
も
of
お野菜
tofu
もたっぷ
and
りなの
vegetables
ケ
in
イチ
it.
くん
Does Keiichi
そういう
not
の
like
嫌
that
い
type of
か
stuff,
な
I wonder?
かな
I wonder?
There's no way I wouldn't like that. I love miso soup. I like miso soup with lots of ingredients. White radish, carrots, burdock root and potatoes, dense and fibrous root vegetables. Yeah, I like miso soup. Looks
ご飯も持
incredible.
ってきてあげたか
I
ら
also brought
レンジ
rice,
で
so
温
if you
めればすぐ
microwave
食
it,
べられる
it'll be
し
ready to eat in no time.
Without a doubt, rice
Sorry.
needs miso soup. Stuffing rice down your gullet, sipping miso soup in between ravenous bites. Ah, yes. How wonderful it is to be born
それからね
Japanese.
またお漬物を作ってきたんだよ
Random bits of Japanese pride.
Also, I made some more
今度は山菜の
pickles.
お
I
漬
made
物なの
sansai pickles this time.
Before I moved here to Hinabazawa, I scoffed at the mountain vegetables called sansai. But I was captivated by their charm the first time I tried them. Such a deep yet light flavor. Those so-called supermarket vegetables taste rough and overpowering in comparison. If you had to describe them, they were the vegetables for the uninitiated. For uninitiated. Become an expert such as myself, you first had to partake of sansai. It was common knowledge around here that the Ryugo family's traditional pickles were wonderfully delicious. Ah, no matter what kind of pickles they were. They'd go so well with that fluffy white
それ
rice.
からね
And
それから
also,
ね
But wait, there's more. So
No.
delicious. It just seems so delicious. Farewell to my unhealthy self who said he'd make me do with cup noodles. Rena appeared to be in good spirits, and she was offering such a delicious-sounding dinner. The stress evaporated from my gut, and hunger reared its voracious head. At the same time, my wariness of Rena suddenly dwindled. Rena did say she was alone. It shouldn't be a problem letting her inside. Though, the possibility that it was laced with poison still hadn't been ruled out.
I'm literally just shaking my head. I'm like, she's doing this shit on purpose.
At that moment, a cold chill ran down my spine once again. I couldn't understand why such a sensation had occurred just then, but a voice inside me was sounding the alarm. Miss Happy Rena speaking of this charming dinner was dependent on one premise. And that premise was that tonight, dinner hadn't been made at my house, meaning it was under the assumption that my mom, who should be making it, wasn't here. In any normal household, 7 o'clock would be around the middle of dinner time. If my mom were here, we'd be eating dinner around this time as well. The fact that she brought over all the makings of a meal this time was inherently strange, unless she knew. Rena, did Did she know that my parents weren't home? But there was also the chance that this was a bluff. I turned on the lights and a bunch of other stuff to make it seem like her parents weren't here. There was a chance that Rena was unsure if my parents were home. But I had to wonder. The laundry, the garage, the evening paper. There were plenty of signs of them being hastily tidied up. And it was hard to say that Rena didn't have a chance to determine if my parents are here or not. But there was no reason for me to confess that right now. I should try holding on to that fact as long as I could. First of all, the chain was still latched. As long as I didn't take it off, Rena wouldn't be able to do anything to me.
ありがたいんだけどさ
I'm quite
もう
grateful,
少し
but
で
dinner will
夕
be
飯ができるみたい
ready
なんだ
pretty
よ
soon.
そうなの
Is that
そうな
so?
の
Is that
せっか
so?
くで申し訳ないんだ
I
けど
know
さ
you went through all the effort and
So-
everything, but, well, unable to think of a good way to refuse, my words trailed off
Demo-
weakly.
But
ちょっとはおか
some
ず
of
に
this
な
could
る
work
と
as
思う
side
な
dishes, I
思
think.
うな
I think.
悪いけど
I'm
間に合ってる
sorry,
よ
we have more than enough
うちの
already.
お袋ってさ
My mom
結構
always
おか
makes
ず多
quite a
い
few
だから
sides, so...
Huh?
おかず
You have side
I don't know.
dishes?
With a smile that bordered on a cringe, I dodged her questions apologetically. But the feeling I tried to ignore began creeping up my back again. I spoke as if my mom was setting down dinner right now, and it didn't mesh well with what Rena was saying. Rena was talking as if she was aware of some obvious facts. That, I was aware of it as well.
ケイチくんも
So Keiichi
お
can
かず
cook.
何を作ったのか
What
な
did she make, I wonder?
いやその
No! Well,
別に俺が
it's not that I... Rena had assumed out of nowhere that I had made the dishes. No, not so much that I had made them, but rather that my mom hadn't.
本当に作っ
Did
た
you
の
really make
おか
them?
ず
The
ケ
side
イチくん
dishes?
が
Did you,
だ
Keiichi
だか
kun?
ら
It
俺が
wasn't
作ったんじゃ
me
ないよ
who made
お
them.
ふくろが作った
My mom did.
Yeah.
No,
作ってるん
she's
だよ
making them.
今
Right now.
だからさ
So you see,
悪いけど
I'm
レナの持って
sorry,
きてく
but
れたのは
I can't
食
eat
べ
what
ら
you
れないんだよ
brought. Rena fell silent at that moment. At that moment, I felt that the light had suddenly disappeared from her eyes.
ケイチくんのお夕飯
How about I try guessing what
当ててみようか？
Keiichi kun's dinner will be?
なんだっていいじゃない
It
か
doesn't matter what I'm going to eat.
とね
Let's see.
The conversation might appear natural at first glance, but Rena was firmly in control. It felt like I was being interrogated.
そのお夕
For
飯
dinner,
お湯だけで作れるんじゃないかな
is this something that can be made with just hot
おい
water?
おい
Hey now! With the
うちのお
insults.
袋の
I can't believe you belittled my mom's
見くびるなってんだ
extravagant dinner like
そり
that.
ゃもう満
Check
館
it sold
全
out!
状態
Full
で
capacity
すご
already.
いのなんの
Is that amazing? I tried my best to put on a strong front, but I couldn't grip my teeth quite right. Someone said I looked like someone who was borderline hysterical. But Rena showed no reaction whatsoever, even to that
Keiichi-kun.
silliness.
Keiichi
本
kun,
当にお母
was
さ
your
ん
mother
ご
really
飯作って
leave
って
you
くれ
dinner?
いやだから
No, you see, she didn't leave me dinner. She's
今
making it
もう
right
すぐ
now.
晩飯に
It's almost time for dinner. Rena had taken that assertion of mine, and that my mother was home and making dinner right now, and was completely ignoring it. I could tell that the more I panicked, the colder Rena became.
ね
Eh,
えケイチくん
Keiichi kun,
At that moment, an uncomfortable chill crept in
Yeah,
from the
he's
gap of the
cooked.
doorway.
お母さん
has your mom
お家にいるのかな
I wonder,
か
I
な
wonder?
I couldn't keep up the charade anymore. Rena, she knew full well that my parents weren't home. But I'd come too far to admit that now. Sunk cost fallacy, sunk cost fallacy. Anyway, my parents were here and we'd be having dinner soon. That was the situation I concocted. So I answered. I told her she was here.
いるよ
She's
もちろん
here. Of course. I could feel the humidity drying out from the surrounding air. Rena's eyes were becoming even more frigid, piercing me with their gelid stare.
どうして
Why?
え
Huh?
何のことかな
What do you mean? I tried acting casual, but that facade was torn off me the instant I looked into Rena's eyes. That look. It informed me of Rena's response faster than she could open her mouth.
どうしてさっきから
Why
嘘
have
を
you
つく
been
のかな
lying to me?
か
I
な
wonder, I wonder.
嘘なんか
I'm not
嘘だよ
lying.
ね
That's a lie, isn't it?
嘘なんかじゃ
It's not a lie.
Lies!
Rena's outburst sent a jolt surging to my body. Rena and I were so separated by what few inches Rena and I were so separated by what few inches that slightly ajar but still chained door could afford. Besides that, I was still being cornered. My house, which I considered a safe haven until now, had become more like a dark alleyway where no one could
ケ
save
イ
me.
チくんのお夕
So
飯
I guess you're dinner,
当てるよ
Keiichi kun. Let's see.
ね
I knew now that Rena had already known my parents would not be here tonight. It was still so strange that it had come to this. Even if she somehow knew that my parents weren't home, there's no way she would be able to guess what I'd be eating tonight. But Rena said she'd guess. How could she guess it? How could she know that it was instant
Cup noodles. That's right. Isn't it?
that I was gonna eat? Wait, the cooking repertoire of a man who can't do housework is probably nothing but cup noodles after all. Looking at this statistically, it was the most probable answer. It didn't mean she was guessing.
I don't think you'll be full with just noodles. I think having rice and stuff will definitely help in spots.
Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. This was just coincidence. Rena was just reading certain tales of mine, so the fact that she was inferring what I was thinking alarmed me. But it wasn't as if she was actually reading my mind. If it was being read, she was a demon. No, not a demon. Things like that. They couldn't possibly exist.
Do you like them?
Do you mean noodles?
No.
Rena indicated that the point of my answer was addressing was wrong. Her rebuttal was so short that I momentarily didn't understand the words Rena had spoken.
ごめん、レナ。
Sorry.
今、
Rena.
なんて。
What did you say just now?
About
今さ
what?
Just now.
何
You
が
asked me
好
if
き
there
って
was something I
聞いたん
liked,
だよ。
didn't you? It wasn't long before I regretted how carelessly I had pushed forward that question. It was such a simple answer. That's why I wasn't able to comprehend it.
Pork bone and ginger flavor.
I wonder how it appeared in the moments my mind went completely blank until the moment I was able to recover. As I feel the view began to distort, slowly swirling in a counterclockwise direction, I lost all sense of
なんで
balance.
そこまでわかるんだよ。
Why do you know that? I didn't even deny it. That was the type of frenzy state I was in. How could Rena even know this? Not even caring as I mashed my head against the door, I fixated my gaze on Rena. But she didn't even flinch when she saw me
確
do
かに買
that.
った。
I certainly did
ま
buy
とめ
them.
て買った。
I bought a bunch
俺
at
が
once.
箱買いした。
I bought a whole
それ
case.
がどう
How
して
could you
わか
know
るんだ。
that?
I wonder. Quite strange, isn't it? Isn't it?
How could you dodge the question at a time like this? The chain and the door suddenly were no longer
どうし
protecting
て
me.
わかる。
How do you
な
know?
ぜ知ってる。
Why do you
答
know?
えろ。
Answer me!
You brought them at 7th mark, didn't you?
A shiver ran up my spine. I tried covering it up with an angry facade. Like I said, why do you know that?
I was behind you, following you the whole time.
何を言
What
っ
are
て
you
んだよ。
saying? I couldn't understand what she was saying. She'd been following me all this time.
That's because I was right behind Keiichi-kun's back the whole time.
Like that night? That night I was absorbed in my phone conversation with Oishi-san. I didn't even sense her being there. Standing behind the door. Behind me. Standing there, just like that?
When Keiichi-kun was picking up the noodles, I was watching the entire time. You picked up so many flavors, didn't you?
Yeah, just regular behavior. So, like, no one saw her do this?
Nope.
Yeah, Casey's parents were just like, you know, blind eye. Whatever. There's no
Probably
Reddit
busy
behind
with
you.
work.
Then your mom got angry. There was also in the scene who also didn't see me. If you were going to pick the expensive ones, maybe you should just pick one type, she said. And you picked
You
up
should
that
just
big
give up
box of
and die.
pork bone and ginger flavor that you love so much, didn't you? I like it too. Pork bone noodles.
Takatsu's my favorite type of noodle too. Really good.
But I can never eat a whole big bowl myself.
Oh, I could. You're not big butts like I am, Rena. My brain was paralyzed, stilling my senses. It might have been a defense mechanism to diminish the fear I was feeling to non-traumatizing levels. With the fear being diminished, the fog enveloped my mind was cleared away. Then I could understand what Rena was saying and started to put meaning behind her words. Even so, my fear hadn't subsided completely. It was like I was standing at the edge of a cliff, eyes closed so I didn't have to look down. It didn't actually solve any of the basic problems. I slowly took a step backwards, and as I withdrew, Rena advanced.
So, Keiichi-kun, can you open this? We can eat dinner together. I'm sure it's going to be delicious, so... Okay.
Rena's pale, slender fingers squirmed through the crack in the door one at a time, as if they had a mind of their own rattling the chain. If she had unlatched the chain from the door, a feeling of terror would have just exploded within me. But Rena didn't do that. She was simply imploring me to remove the chain. I tried my hardest to light the fuse to the powder keg in my heart, trying to get it again. Clatter, clatter. But it doesn't light. It doesn't light!
Open up, Keiichi-kun.
帰ってくれ。
Please, go
頼む
away.
か
I beg you.
ら。帰ってくれ。
Please go away!
How can you say something so mean, I wonder?
か
I
な
want to.
帰ってくれ
Please go away! Go away! Go away! Powder keg beside me finally went off. No smoldering, it just exploded. I tackled the door. Before through the door, I had knocked Rena momentarily off balance. I couldn't hesitate here. I grabbed into the doorknob with both hands, planted my feet firmly, and pulled with all my might. That slamming sound I desired, but that slamming sound I so desired didn't happen. I could feel a tiny disturbing bit of resistance keeping the door from closing. The source of that was Rena's fingers. Each of those fingers wriggling, squirming around like the tendrils of a carnivorous plant through the crack in the doorway.
It hurts, Keiichi-kun. It hurts.
It wasn't a harsh shriek, more of a yelp she was trying to keep back. Go away! Go away! Go away! I kept on pulling the door with all my might. I didn't even realize if I didn't loosen my pull on the door, at least momentarily, Rena wouldn't be able to pull her fingers out, and that's why the door wasn't closing.
It hurts, Keiichi-kun. Sorry if I was messing around too much.
I didn't care one bit for her apology. No matter how much she apologized, it didn't change any of what she had done up until now. It didn't change anything.
Sorry.
Go away! Go away! Go away! Rena couldn't leave, even if she wanted to, because I trapped her fingers. Rena's white fingers had become deep red and were no longer even squirming.
Sorry.
Go away! Go away! Go away!
Sorry.
Rena's apologies were occasionally twisted with pain, but like a broken record, she was intent on repeating it over and over. Go away! Go away! Go away! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! I pulled the door even harder. Finally, Rena's fingers were somehow able to slip from their imprisonment in the doorway. The moment that happened, the door closed soundly, and I could hear the thud of Rena falling on her butt on the other side. I locked the door immediately. I made a loud clunk, voicing my rejection to Rena.
Sorry. Keiichi-kun, I'm sorry. Open up. Keiichi-kun.
Rena leaned against the door, apologizing profusely and nothing else. After confirming that I was sufficiently sealed off from her, I trudged away from the entryway. On the other side, I could still hear Rena echoing her apology.
Sorry.
Those pitiful words. They'll be forever seeking my forgiveness. I didn't feel bad about this at all. But that wasn't out of any sort of malice. I just felt a sort of hazy sense of relief that I was able to escape from Rena. Before, Mion had threatened me at the doorway, saying there was nothing she didn't know. And just now, at the same place, Rena had told me the same thing. My feeble attempt to disguise the fact that my parents weren't home had served no purpose from the start. I should just have pretended to be out, not even opened the door. My meager plans hadn't helped at all. Hinimazawa, it was impossible. Outwit them. Even though I was on the other side of the door, I wanted to get as far away from Rena as possible. 1 step, 2 steps, the reached 1, her sniveling apologies became more distant. I sprinted up the stairs and dove into my room. As I would expect, I was finally no longer able to hear Rena repeating her endless apology. Diving into my bed, I was startled by the lump I had felt. There was something in my bed? It was the receiver. I finally remembered. I was in the middle of a call for Oishi-san. Looking at the clock, apparently not much time had passed since I went downstairs. Could it be that my clock had run out of batteries? I have talked to Rena for so long. I didn't know much time passed. But the hand of the clock was ticking forward 1 second every second as usual. As I put up the still warm receiver to my ear, time just felt frozen. Began moving once again. Hello, Oishi-san? Sorry to keep you waiting.
No, not at all. I didn't wait that long.
It became apparent that the amount of time had passed between myself and Oishi-san was different. Over the phone, I could hear an energetic voice on a sports program or something. It drove home just how far away Oishi-san really was. Rena came just now.
Did she come to play?
You could say that, I guess. I wasn't confident that I could coherently explain the situation to Oishi-san, but I didn't need to right now. Right now, I needed to know about Rena. That's right. I was planning to ask Oishi-san more about Rena, but Rena's little visit had interrupted the conversation. What was true and what was false, I couldn't tell. The one thing I knew was the single grim reality that Rena was suspicious. I might be able to figure something out if I asked Keiichi-san about her. Up until now, I had regretted it whenever I forced myself to ask about things that I was better off not knowing. But, looking at it that way, you could say I'd hit rock bottom. There was no possible way I could feel any more regret than I did right now. No, rather. I wanted to know if there was anything beyond this I would regret more. Forget about tomorrow. It wasn't out of the realm of possibility for something to happen tonight. I wanted to know everything I could. I was absolutely not going to die like this. Not without knowing anything. I definitely won't.
Regarding Rena Ryugu-san, I did a bit of digging. Yeah, Well, it wasn't much.
I understood that Oishi-san was talking in circles. A bit meant I dug so deep it'd be hard to discuss with you since you're a
その
friend.
簡単な全てを知りた
I
いんで
want
す
to know everything from your research.
I don't think you'll be very interested in what I have to say, though.
What the crap?
大石さん
Oishi-san. I spoke as calmly as possible to Oishi-san, who was continuing to avoid the issue. And then I
リュ
said
ウグ
it.
レナは
I think Rena
怪
Ryugu
しい
is
過去の事
suspicious.
件が
Even if the
た
past
とえ親
incidents
し
were
の
from
ためによるものだ
Oyashiba-sama's
ったんですよ
curse, Rena Ryugu is involved.
Do you have some sort of proof that makes you believe Rena-san is suspicious?
It's called Onikakushi, Chapter 1 of Higurashi no Naku Koroni.
What are you talking about, Mibara-san? We're just characters in a visual novel.
The manner in which Oishi-san spoke became very firm. Do you have some sort of proof? That was him talking as a
状
detective.
況証拠だけです
I only have circumstantial evidence.
I see.
I could tell even over the phone how disappointed Oishi-san was. Pulling out a fishing line when he felt a bite, only to reel in the bait. Disappointed, but ready to cast the line once more. That's how it seemed.
目に見
Oishi-san,
える証
you
拠が
can't
なけ
do
れ
anything
ば
about physical proof,
動け
can
ないん
you?
ですか
What I meant was, you can't come and save me without proof? I stuck that barb in there. As Oishi-san loved roundabout ways of saying things, he understood me just fine.
It's fine, Mibara-san. I'll protect you.
That was not the least bit reassuring. Oishi-san was just using me to continue his investigation. I was just going to get killed, and of course would be an important piece of evidence. That's all I was
大
to
石さん
him.
の捜査は
Whether I'm
俺の
alive
精
or
子と無
dead
関係
may
でし
be
ょ
of
う
no
が
concern to
俺は
your
死ねば終わりなんです
investigation. It's all over for me when I die. Oishi-san went silent on the other side of the line. That may have been too blunt, but I didn't care. All I needed to relay to Oishi-san was that I was currently in a very dangerous position. So
話してくだ
please,
さいレナ
tell
の
me.
こと
Tell me about Rena.
サトシは転校しました
Satoshi transferred out. Not too
俺も
far in
そ
the
れほど
future.
遠くない将
I'll
来
probably also do what
レナ
Rena
の
called
言う転校を
transferring
するっ
out
て言っ
as
てた
well.
大石さんには
But you won't be able to find
俺
my
っきりも
corpse.
サトシの死体だ
You
って
haven't even been able to
まだ
find
見つけられて
Satoshi's
ない
body yet.
Alright, Mibara-san, please calm down.
He's crashing on everyone. I was already suppressing my agitation, even without Oishi-san having to tell me. It wouldn't solve anything if I continued to scream about my mistrust in the police. It would seem that I could only depend on myself and the bad Satoshi left behind to protect myself. Then I at least wanted to know about what happened before Rena transferred schools.
You're aware that this won't be very interesting, right?
Oishi-san, realizing my resolve couldn't be swayed, finally
今の俺に
caved.
とって
Right now, to me,
つまらない
there is
話は
nothing
何
more.
一つあ
There
り
is
ません
nothing that I'll find
お願いしま
uninteresting.
す
Please.
There are a few things I need you to agree to.
Okay.
Please keep this confidential. Also, part of this may be speculation. Not all of it may be true. Are you still interested?
真実ではないと
It
言
might
っ
not be
てる意
true.
味がよくわ
I
かり
don't
ません
understand what you mean.
There isn't one main investigation for the mysterious chain of deaths in Hinamizawa. Each one is treated as its own individual case. Thus, Rena Ryugu has never been linked to any of the investigations. Basically, you
レナ
see,
の調査は
This isn't an
警察として
investigation
で
of
な
Rena
く
done by the
個人として
police.
行ったと
It
い
is
う
a
ことで
personal
すか
inquiry. Is what you're telling me?
this will make things a lot quicker since you understand. All of it is from either phone calls or readings and interviews, so they aren't corroborated. I'm asking you to take this all with a grain of salt, is what I mean. Do we have an agreement?
全部聞いた
All
話
of
だ
it
け
is
なんで
just
す
from
か
what you heard?
Yes, my apologies. It's all my personal investigation, you see. It's stuff I've read on Twitter. That thing.
Yeah, I've actually read a bunch of Rena Ryugu call-out threads. So, I'm pretty much a master. On,
That's not helping, Oishi-san.
I told you that to agree.
Yeah, but really? A call-out post? Like, you gotta get the Google Docs.
I've searched through a couple Google Docs as well, don't doubt me.
Then what are they? I need to know. I have to see them.
That
以前
thing.
レナのカルテを見たって
You
言い
said you
ま
saw
せんで
Rena's
したか
chart, didn't you?
確かにそう聞きましたよ
I'm sure I heard you say that. Oishi-san paused for a moment on the other side of the line.
I told you that too. Please pretend you didn't hear anything about that.
I didn't care about Oishi-san having certain obligations and responsibilities. I also didn't care if there was no proof, even if they were rumors. There's no smoke without fire, after all. Please, tell me, Oishi-san.
Understood.
Oishi-san finally opened up those tight lips of his. It seemed that Rena lived in Hinamazawa a long time ago. She had moved to Ibaraki Prefecture just before starting elementary school. Then, following that, right after transferring, the unfortunate incident with the breaking up the school windows happened. Then Rena confided to the doctor.
It was Oyashiro-sama.
That was everything I knew.
There isn't much difference between what I know and what you know, Maibara-san.
どこを詳しく調べ
Then
た
what
んです
part
か
did you investigate further? I didn't need to ask. It was the incident right before she transferred back to
レナが
Hinamazawa.
起こした事件と
The incident Rena was
incident Rena
responsible
was
for.
responsible.
医者で
And
の
once you
告
divulged
白
to the other
です
doctors
ね
afterwards, correct?
Yes.
大石さんは
After
そ
you
の
learned
内容
about
を知ってい
that,
るからこそ
you started suspecting Rena and the others, didn't you?
Yes. I did suspect them.
やはりレナ
So,
たちが
they're the
犯人
ones after all?
No, that's not what I meant by suspect them.
Huh? Oishi-san was the type of person to say things with confidence, but these particular words were less
じ
than
ゃあ
reassuring.
何を
Then,
疑ってる
who
んで
did
す
you
か
suspect?
That it was Oyashiro-sama.
Not you too! Huh?
That Oyashiro-sama's curse really exists. Yeah, right. Well,
Okay, stop bullshitting around. Oishi-san's laugh is
yes,
quite dry.
Hinamizawa.
It's certainly not the kind that would make you want to join in. Oishi-san resumed the conversation about the dubious circumstances behind Satoshi's disappearance, the course of events leading him to develop into Rena's past. Just then, there was thunder in the distance, and the heavy rain started pouring down. It came without warning, a downpour fiercely beating the ground. I had left the window of my room and opened a crack to let the heat out. The violent wind danced into my room, making the curtains flap wildly.
What is it?
あいえ急
Nothing.
にすごい雨
It
が
suddenly started raining
すみ
heavily.
ません
Sorry,
どうぞ
please
続
continue.
けてください
I got up, was on the phone, and grasped the window.
I said at the beginning it was an incident, but because neither the school nor the victims filed charges, the police were never involved. So she just got away. She got away with it.
Yeah, it's a whole bunch of windows. Whatever.
So, you see, those involved were very reluctant to talk. Regardless of there being a victim who
What?
had one eye beaten so badly that it had permanent damage. Oh. It could have been the school or possibly some individual who made arrangements to keep this from going public. Also, the psychologist was very strict about their personal ethics. Hello, Maibara-san? Can you hear me?
There was a figure of a person standing by the light near the mailbox this whole time. Even in this torrential rain, they didn't have an umbrella. They were unquestionably drenched from head to toe. And this shower, which more resembled a waterfall, droplets of water dripped down from her hair. Bruh.
Oh! Oh my god!
Bruh. Live Rena reaction.
I know what must be done. Give me a second to cook. By the time it is done, it will maybe be seen in this video. Alright, there we go. Got that. There we go. Image flip. Okay. I think it was right here. There you go.
This come with bonus.
Oh shit. I had that pasted earlier. Oops.
And you never sent it. Holy gatekeeper.
You're not the first one.
Just standing there, both arms dangling at her side. In one hand was a stack of boxes wrapped in cloth. Her eyes focused on my room, focused on me as I was about to close the window. Her mouth was methodically repeating a chewing motion. It was as if she had something hard to chew in her mouth, with her cheeks puffing out. What could she be eating over there? How could it be that at this time, I was more enthralled by Rena, instead of the shocking developments being brought to light by Oishi-san? If it hadn't started raining, I wouldn't have gone to the window, and I wouldn't have noticed Rena, nor would I have noticed that Rena's mouth was moving in the same pattern. She wasn't eating something, she was repeating something. What was it? What was she repeating? Was she repeating to me? What was she saying?
Was it I'm sorry?
And why was I right up against the window, fixated on her?
Hello? My Barasan? Can you hear me?
ごめん
Hello?
なさい
I'm sorry.
Huh?
ごめんなさ
My
い
Barasan?
ごめん
I'm
なさ
sorry.
い
I'm sorry.
ご
I'm
めん
sorry.
なさい
I'm sorry.
ごめ
I'm
ん
sorry.
なさい
I'm sorry.
ごめん
I'm
なさい
sorry.
ごめん
Yo,
な
he's
さい
being
ごめんな
he's
さい
being hypnotized, dude.
Hello? My Barasan? What's the matter?
Even in this torrential downpour, Rena was still apologizing. The other self inside me drew the curtain hastily with my right hand, blocking my view to the outside. But even doing that, Rena's relentless apology still reached my ears. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgive you for this. Will you forgive me for that? Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. Please stop. I'm sorry. 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 Damn it. Why should I have to forgive her? I'm the one who wants to be forgiven. What part of me can't you forgive? Don't be killed. If you won't forgive me, I won't forgive you either. I won't forgive. 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 Won't forgive.
My Barasan? If you can hear me, then please respond. Hello?
Oh. Oh. Apology break.
Nothing bad ever happens to Keiichi.
This is Rena's apology video. Split personality?
Well, you gotta give Rena a ukulele.
Rain of apologies falling on deaf ears. Alright. Split personality. What, is this gonna be a lesson in DID or something? What is this?
Meanwhile, on TV, it's the
よく
Higurashi
映
anime.
画などに登場しますが、簡単に言うとどの
I
ようなも
see
ので
it's
しょ
in
うか。
movies quite often. But what is it exactly?
複数の人格を持つことによる逃避
Multiple
と考えられ
personalities
て
are
います。
thought to be escapism.
多重人格は逃避の一つ
Multiple
なんですか。
personality disorder is a form of escape?
さようです。
Correct.
そのメカニズムは
The exact
完
mechanism
全
is
には
not
解
fully
明されていま
understood,
せんが、
but is believed to be a
精神
type
を
of
守る
defense for
た
the
めに
brain to
ノウハウを
retain
行う
mental
のです。
stability.
例えば貧乏な人が金持ちになった自
Hypothetically,
分を
poor
想像
people
するという
imagining
現
themselves
実
as
逃避って
wealthy
言い
is
ま
a
すよ
form
ね。
of escapism,
これ
is
も
it
多
not?
重人格なわけ
Is
です
this
か。
also a form of multiple personality disorder?
極論は
So
できません
Maria
が、
and her which
講
one?
義的にはそう解釈できます。つまり、
I wouldn't go that
誰にで
far,
もあ
but
り得る
broadly
現象
speaking,
なのです。
one could infer that it's something that occurs in us all.
So, Sayo Yasuda in her entirety.
Yes.
その現実逃避
Oops,
の見境
we
がなく
spoiled
なる
a
と
bit
二重
echo
人格になるのです
for
か。
And
that
Umiful now.
being
Umiful now.
Does the split personality occur when one cannot tell which is reality and which is the escape?
ちょっと難しいですね。
Difficult to say.
そう提
There are
唱す
some
る
who
説も
agree
あり
with
ますし、
that, and some who
否定
disagree.
諸説紛々で
There's
す。
no consensus.
Maria might
で
have
は
DID.
精神医学の世界ではまだ多重人格というのは未知の
Then,
解明
is
さ
the
れてい
occurrence
な
of
い現象
multiple
なんですか。
personality still an unknown phenomenon? Something not fully comprehended in the psychiatric field?
残念ながらそうなります。
Unfortunately, that is the current state of things. We can only put our hope in future research. Future Foundation.
二重人格なんてなんだかかっこいいですよね。
But it's sort of cool having a split
どういう人が二重人格になれるん
personality.
ですか？
What kind of people get split personalities?
なれると
Also,
言いますか、なりやすいと言いますか。
recent
最近の研究
studies
では
find that those
遺
who
伝と死
develop it,
因が
or
複
rather,
雑に絡み
those who
合
are
い、
more susceptible to developing it may be genetically predisposed or may have had abnormal mental
中
development.
でも幼少期の
Some
育
say
児
that
体験が
childhood abuse
大き
increases
く
the
作用
chances.
するの
So
で
is
は
it
ない
just
かと言われてい
Chunibyo?
ます。
It's huh?
Yeah, the whole like the Chunibyo thing, you know, multiple personalities and all that.
I haven't heard it said that way, no. I haven't heard it said that way, but basically,
Let me look it up just so I'm not bullshitting. Gains of delusions of grandeur, acting as if they possess magical powers or something. Oh, that's probably the anime.
well, is there an anime that presents this?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Maria's entire disposition,
I should
kinda.
actually finish that anime actually.
Okay, I
Chunibyo
don't.
Demoko Kashitai. I should finish that.
I think only so many of people's dispositions could be described
Also,
by that anime.
also, people in the comments, if I'm wrong, please say
Th- so this Higurashi is educational.
it.
You must understand that Mecha's first exposure to people with multiple personalities is fucking Toko Fukawa. Probably the worst one ever.
I mean, everyone loves Toko, right?
You know, Toko is great. Toko herself is great. Just accuracy
Yes.
wise. If Kodaka and Ryukishi could have had a nice long conversation.
What could possibly go wrong?
そういえば、この A 君
Speaking
も
of
家庭
which,
に問題を
person
抱え
A
てるんです
here
よね。
experienced abuse as a child, didn't he? How sad.
7つの人格を持つ青年
Person A has 7 different
では
personalities.
VTR の続きをどうぞ。
The seven human personalities.
ですが、その前に
Let's
コマー
watch
シ
a
ャル
video of him right after these commercials. Yes! I fucking love that. It's like right after these commercials, the tip just ends. Thank you for your kissing. Absolute cinema. Peak.
Very interesting characters presented in this tip. Like the guy who has like base level of like psychology like more than most people would, and like knows of multiple personalities, and like could introduce the concept, and like a woman who's like taking it in the most like not very woke of you way possible. Oh, look at this poor abused youth. Now look at how he copes.
Hope and seeds and mold. Keep
At the
coping,
seventh mark.
Denji. Pochita!
The seventh mark was a bargain supermarket with food and alcohol. It's this, Keiichi. So many. There's no reason to get all the different kinds, is there? I flopped all the different colored cup noodles into the cart.
最近のカップ麺は凝ってて種類も多いんだ
Cup
よ。
noodles have gotten so elaborate
どれも
recently.
一通りは
There are a
食ってみ
bunch
た
of
いし
different types. I'm gonna try each of them at least once. Whenever you get PFP the POV by the way, just like she's just like watching Keiichi's back right now.
She's like, I will know everything. I know what you are.
I knew it was pretty selfish like me, but I thought I'd at least give it a try. Keiichi, better than a big Keiichi's cheaper, Dad faltered. I had a feeling it'd end up like this. Now that Dad had thrown his hat into the ring, I'd have to
それじゃあ
compromise.
一種類しか食えないよ。
Then I'd only
Watch out
get to
there.
eat one kind. I'd get bored with it. I was existing as a formality. I had already given up inside and wasn't sure which case of noodles to get. If you can't pick, you bet you pick, thank you. You don't have to rush me. I quickly searched the cases of noodles for what I wanted. Quick, Birdie, Keiichi, run cup. Hey, Keiichi, can't you get a more durable one? So I let Mom pick. She'd err on the side of safety and get soy sauce or salt
豚骨
flavor.
はうまいんだよ。
Pork bone's good.
大盛りだけど
You get a
大
large
味ってわ
serving,
けじゃ
the
ないし
flavor isn't too strong. I remembered insisting that the noodles I picked were the right kind.
Were they really?
In this frozen memory in time, this encapsulated world, I didn't have the power to look around my surroundings. So, I did what I could, and reached out with my hearing and vision, sharpening my senses to find presents I overlooked. No matter how
As
much
Rena
I
does
searched to, my field of vision, I couldn't see Rena. I rewound the situation, searching. But of course, I couldn't find her. Then, was she spying at me from my blind spot? I go through the sound and presences, looking. I could sense the other customers. They were all mixed about, moving as they please. There was nobody looking over this way, and no one trying to get behind me. Not here. Couldn't be here. Probably wasn't here. I would definitely notice if someone was right behind me, even when I wasn't on my guard. I smiled wryly at the thought of using a vague word like probably right before contradicting it with definitely.
There he goes again.
Then, I paused my mental replay as a chill ran down my spine. There was definitely a presence like a shadow behind me. That was a terror unlike any other. The presence really had manifested behind me, and would definitely have turned around to check for it. But the world had moved on. There was no way for me to turn around. While carrying that frightening shadow on my back, I was gleefully running around the store searching for a case of noodles? Running around through the instant noodle section, bad-mouthing my mom. There was a presence constantly at my back, sticking to me like a shadow. No way to see what it was. Realizing it now after the fact was horrifying and repulsive. In that moment of time, I was running around gleefully, carrying that cardboard box. Tip-tap. Listening to that moment again, I could hear footsteps other than mine going pip-pat for every step. Tip-tap, tip-tap, tip-tap. Pip-pat, pip-pat, pip-pat. Tip-tap, tip-tap. Pip-pat, pip-pat. Pip-tap, tip-tap. Pip-pat, pip-pat. While I was running, the sound of those barefoot footsteps going pit-pat were behind mine, me running around gleefully, in that closed-off moment in time. But I didn't hear it. No, I heard it. That's why I remembered it. I didn't think I had heard anything. That's why I didn't turn around. That is why I didn't turn around. In that moment, the pit-pat of those footsteps were following me the entire time. I couldn't run faster and escape. I couldn't run any faster than I had at the time. I couldn't turn around. I hadn't turned around before, not once. Then I returned to my parents and started talking. The shadow-like presence was right at my back. Since I didn't move, the shadow didn't move. That is why it made no sound. That was all. At that time, I hadn't taken a single step while talking with my parents. I was just standing there. This was undeniable. And yet, I heard it. A pit-pat. That shouldn't be. If I took 3 steps, it followed 3 steps. Wasn't that the rule? There was no sound other than that. At that time, the entire world had gone dark. A sudden darkness. It was the end of my reflective journey. I was tired. I wanted to end it. So I turned on the light. Except my body couldn't move. As if I was sewed into that moment in time. Pit-pat. My past self's hair stood on end. That's impossible. Unless it's breaking the rules. I hadn't moved. So you shouldn't be moving either. I couldn't move. So you shouldn't be able to move either. Follow the rules. Pit-pat. That sound echoed in the darkness once again. The hair on the back of my neck pricked up on end. So close that it was hard to tell whether it was touching the hair or not. Why couldn't I move? I thought the presence was moving behind me. I quickly realized. I could move. It's just that I was scared and didn't want to. But now was the only time I could turn around. There was something unforgivable in this moment in time. But I needed to turn around immediately. As if my entire being was trying to force me to stop. It began to administer a pain like a needle being struck into my every pore. Turn around! Turn around! I'm not scared at all! Turn around! I'll turn around! I'm not scared at all! I scream I was unable
It's
to...
a
Wow.
needle in the haystack.
I scream I was unable to vocalize. I turned around. At first, I couldn't understand the meaning of it. What? What is this? Just as a person's mouth might bite into an apple, slurp the juices, and finally discovered that it was an apple. My mind began the process to see before my eyes by eating the apple. Munch, munch, chew, chew. Slurp the juices and discovered the apple. Meaning, what was in front of me was... Read all tips in Onikakushi.
Oh, we're almost done then.
Yeah. uh, even in his memories, Keiichi's fake posting. That's terrifying. Okay. That confirms this as a 12 chapter. Alright. No matter. I can't stick it out. I'm hungry and my voice hurts. We've been going for 3 hours? That's a lot. Well, 3 hours minus the break time. So,
Yeah, just subtract the break time, and I think it was like a couple hours, like 2 hours.
feels like more than that though. So it was only like 2 chapters. Oh my god. A long ending here. That last chapter's probably gonna be Behemoth then. Oh. I'm past all of the things from Onikakushi that I have seen. Once we got to the scene with Rena in the door and the front entrance. When it comes to Onikakushi, I know nothing. And that's the
Well,
most
so
of like
much for it being a blind read-through for you.
yeah, from the start it wasn't blind.
Yeah,
I've like
because
read the
the
first
comments
chapter a
would
bunch of
probably
times.
be like, cheater, cheater.
I've made it clear. I make it clear that I I've seen a lot of Higurashi just like with and without context.
It's probably
Mostly
better
without.
without context.
Yeah. That it's like kind of the 100 line effect. I just like see so much stuff from Higurashi. I'm like, how is this real? How is there more stuff that I haven't seen? That was like tenfold with 100 line. Something else I need to
Next
play.
time on Higurashi no Nakokorol D, will we finally finish part one? Not part one, episode one. No, fuck!
Chapter
Whatever, just
1.
chapter one. Will we finally finish the first chapter? Find out next time on What's a Higurashi?
Will
Also,
we be
notice
gaming
it's always
away?
sunny in Hinamizawa.
I forgot about that bit. Okay.